Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Welcome to Sci-Fi Center presents Saturday Overnight Live, a show I was not sure I was going to be able to do, but I would think I got about the better part of 2 hours in me. Happy May the 4th. Happy Free Comic Day. I have been up since the crack of dawn for me, and I've been rolling all day long. I am basically wrapping up the Star Wars event right now, so I'm going to be going back and forth while we get the show started. We don't have a lot of topics tonight. We're basically going to be talking comic books and Star Wars, and then I'm going to turn the show over to the inmates. It's not going to be a standard overnight. It's probably going to be about 2 hours or so. But I don't like going Saturdays without doing my show. It does as much for me as it does for you guys. So I'm going to jump out real quick, and I'm going to turn it over to Brad, and then I will come back.
All right, sounds good. All right, so everybody. So yeah, we were kind of up in the air whether we were going to do a show next. Williams had a pretty packed couple of days leading into May the 4th and Free Comic Day, which is of course the retail wise is the biggest day of the year for him. But yeah, we're gonna not like what we usually do on Saturdays where we have like a structured topic. And of course, we can do like a watch party as we've been doing for quite a while now, regularly on Saturdays. So yeah, we're just gonna be kind of shooting the shit tonight. So nothing really too preset or structured. But let me go ahead and go to the chat. See what you guys have to say for us. All right, how's it going, Vince? And how's it going, Rhea? Let's see. Jimmy Badalinsky, hello, we're Rad LGR tomorrow. Beat them Canes. What's LGR mean, man? Is that let's get ready? I'm not sure. Might need to help you clear me out of there, man. Clear that for me, man. Glad to see William Bray say hi. Are you talking about the intro? I mean, open panel, yeah. Oh, let's go Rangers. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really a regular kind of hockey viewer, so I couldn't. Couldn't really. That's very easy for that to go over my head. Let's see, Ray, I saw another hate review that basically said the same thing I did about Zach being better than Paul Dozer. Now he's the same as Paul Dozer for the same reasons too. You talking about a Rebel Moon? I mean, ride clearly ain't over yet, though. We got, as we all know, we got the. We have now apparently it's called what's the other title, like because they were called Child of Fire and Scargiver. What's the title that the extended versions are going to have? Those something else like Chalice of the Fire or something. I need to look that up. Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Fourth, I gotta watch it. You articulate review that pretty well, and there was a lot left on the table, though. I didn't hear Spidey's take either. Yeah. Let's see, guys. So, Bray, I got something to share with you. It's the first draft, but I think it's worth sharing. Oh, something you've written? Okay. Oh, yeah, and of course, we're heading into Cinco de Mayo tomorrow for Central and Eastern too. Yeah, we already are if you're in Central and Eastern time zone, you already are in Cinco de Mayo, and also you're also in Happy Birthday, Henry Cavill. Happy birthday to Superman. It's his birthday today. Gal Gadot's birthday was actually on April 30th too, so happy birthday to her as well. So happy birthday to Wonder Woman and Superman. Like, Alkalite still looks mad to me. I haven't had the chance to watch the trailer yet today. And again, it's like I can't get my head around for May the 4th being, such a big day in Star Wars fandom. It's like they've never released a movie or a show in Star Wars that was on May the 4th. And I know it's on a Saturday this year, so it's for releasing anything new, they tend to want to put this out on Fridays, but I don't know. It's like, why do they? It's coming out on June the 4th, Acolyte, but why? I feel like, that being because of course, they re-released Phantom Menace in the theaters. We're gonna try to go. I get to see it tonight, but I'm gonna try to go swing by and check that out tomorrow for the 25th anniversary of Phantom Menace. Yeah, they never seem to really capitalize on as far as like Lucasfilm. They never really seem to capitalize on May the 4th as far as like releasing anything new Star Wars wise. So it always seemed like a bit of a missed opportunity to me. Because Star Wars fandom, it's a big celebration, so why not do that? And like I said, like 2 years ago, I went downtown. There was a showing one of the kind of the older theaters downtown. It was a New Hope, and I wish I had gotten down there an hour earlier because parking wasn't a problem because there's parking garages, like 5 or 6 of them like within the vicinity of the place. But just the line was just stretching around the block. And it was standing room only. I was up in like the highest the seat of the balcony. I was like looking down to the screen when it was playing. That place was swamped. That place I've never seen. Yeah. So I tell everybody now, if you're doing anything Star Wars related on May the 4th, make sure you get there an hour early at least, because it's going to be. There's always a huge turnout for that. They were serving like the blue milk. They had what else they have? They had a few other things that kind of tapped onto it. They were saying that was the thing that really stood out to me. That was the blue milk, because I never had that before. That was actually pretty good. They need to put that on shelves. They actually sell that, like make that like an actual like item in circulation. There you go with that. Yeah, but yeah, that was fun. But I knew right from that moment, it's like your timing has to be coordinated to account for stuff like that on May the 4th. And anybody else have any anything cool they did on May the 4th? Go ahead and tell me in the comments. Brad, did you see the trailer for Megalopolis? I'd love for you. I have not. I have not seen the trailer for it. We could do a reaction when William gets back on. Wants to. We definitely do that. They're selling the blue milk at select supermarkets. Okay, well, none that I've been into yet. So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, make it like a widespread thing. Because again, why not? It's so associated with Star Wars. That could be a big revenue driver for Lucasfilm, for Disney, and whatever manufacturer they would partner with to do that. So why not? Like, make that like it's sort of like Ecto Cooler with Ghostbusters. They only seem to like put that out in a limited capacity whenever like a new Ghostbusters movie is coming out. So why not just do that? Why not make that like a year-round thing? It's like, and draw the revenue off of that continuously. Why not? Chocolate blueberries and peanut butter is my go-to smoothie mix. I've never had that, but that does sound pretty good. I'll try it at some point. What is the flavor of the blue? It kind of was, yeah. It was a little bit of it was like it had a little bit of a kind of a Kool-Aid sort of feel to it, to be honest. But yeah, it was pretty good. I did like the blue milk. Yeah, it was like this milk Kool-Aid kind of hybrid. So yeah, That was my first time having it, so I think they need to make that more regular or more widespread, and not just keep that strictly for May the 4th. Mewtwo, yes, Ray out there. Yeah, Mewtwo had it top their head, or Mewtwo. Or what was yours? It was Mimikyu. That's what it was. It wasn't Mewtwo. It was Mimikyu that Ray had. My smoothies are boring. Strawberry banana. Nah. Can't go wrong. Yeah, can't be a classic. Can't be a classic, as Jason Statham would say. Expendables 2. Let's see. Rational before he was super rainy where I met, so I stayed in the house and played video games. Okay, I mean that. You get rainy days occasionally on May the 4th. I did, it was pretty quiet for me. I did, did a few things. Did some exercise. Pretty quiet May the 4th for me. I might try and get Michelada. What's that? Is that Star Wars related? I don't know. You gotta fill me out on that one, man. Am I Cinco de Mayo? I gotta treat myself to some days. Yeah. I gotta do this. It's fair because I do Cinco de Mayo. It's like do I know anybody who throws anyone locally who throws like a big party on Cinco de Mayo? I don't think I do. Yeah. I know I've met people who do, but not like recently, so yeah. I can't think of any off the top of my head, so I'll see you around town tomorrow if there's anybody. Just to kind of see if there's any fireworks of that. Yeah, but it's like I can't think off the top of my head. I actually have some Spanish blood in me too. Just kind of full disclosure. My family's mainly Irish, but like about 10 years ago, I learned on my grandmother's side I do have a little bit of Spanish blood. So, just a little bit of trivia about me. No, not just me tonight. William's kind of having to zigzag back and forth a little bit because the May the 4th event at the Sci-Fi Center is still kind of wrapping up right now. So he had to step out in the beginning here, and right now I'm just kind of navigating solo until he steps back in. But he's going to do that a little bit tonight, so it's going to be a little bit. I mean, it's a bit of an unconventional Saturday show for us because we don't have topics, or we're going to talk Star Wars and comics, obviously, because those are the topics of the day. But we don't have it like broken down like to our like usual topics because of that, because he was he had to make so many preparations for today being the biggest retail day for him, and of course then today he had to tend to the shop more than ever throughout the whole year. So yeah, you'll see me flying solo a little bit tonight, but don't worry, we'll be back in. All the chain restaurant Cinco de Mayo deals suck. As you guys got True Moo is the brand that's selling the blue milk. Okay, well, like I'm saying, it's like I'm saying expand upon the sale of the blue milk. They'll make it like, okay, we're only like putting it out in like a handful of like locations nationwide. And it's like make that something you can get year round. I mean, don't make this like Star Wars eggnog where it's like you only get it one time a year. I like eggnog, for the holidays. That's actually something they should make. I know everybody hates the Star Wars holiday special. Maybe that's something that if they just lean into that, maybe like put that out for like the blue milk, made that like Star Wars eggnog. Because most Star Wars movies, like especially these days, tend to come out around the holiday season, and even a lot of the shows. So I think a lot of people mentally, other than May the 4th, people kind of the other time of year, people kind of mentally sort of link Star Wars to as the holiday season. So it's a lot of marketing opportunities they could dive on there, I think. Let's see. Should Star Wars The Acolyte be taking influence from Kill Bill and Frozen as an audience that described the experience of Crouching Tiger meets Deliverance? Oh, yeah, we were getting some questions about the act which that dropped today, and I have not had a chance to watch it yet. So do you want to?
When I get back, when I get back. Well, you wait. Yeah, let's go ahead and drop it now.
Okay. Well, that
because I still have to go back.
Yeah, that and Ray was also asking if we could do a reaction to the Megalopolis trailer. So
I did not see the record opposite. When did that drop?
Well, apparently today.
They dropped that shit on a Saturday? Wow.
Or
yeah, we can.
Or yesterday. I don't know. So, but yeah, let me go and pull it back a light. Pull it up right now.
Shit, this is gonna drive me crazy.
What's that? Oh, you got gnats coming in.
Oh, and I'm seeing it on the screen, and it's gonna just drive me nuts.
Okay, we'll wait for William to step back in before we actually play the trailer here. What else you guys got though? Eggnog and bourbon. I've never tried them, so couldn't tell you. Let's see. You think the next watch party for the yeah, we were going to do that the middle of this week, and then we had to postpone it because William, he says he just had to really focus on preparing for today, May the 4th and Free Conflict Day. So it's like we decided to bump that back to next weekend or this coming weekend. So it'll be we'll be doing next weekend Beekeeper and May the 4th, or Beekeeper and a Monkey Man.
Yeah, that'll be on Friday.
All right, let me go ahead and play the Acolyte trailer here.
Last night, a Jedi was murdered.
The Jedi justify their galactic dominance in the name of peace. But that peace is a lie.
Jedi are being hunted.
She was my student. I trained her. Let me be the one to bring her in.
I sense this is only a small part of a larger plan. Some sort of shift to tip the scales. It's time to face the past. Destiny is not decided for you by an anonymous force. If you want to pull the thread and change everything, then pull it.
What are you?
That looks pretty good to me. Yeah, and yeah, I think right. Yeah, your fourth year description that said that sound like that scene that was sold like yeah, you described it like that looked like a Crouching Tiger meets Deliverance. I don't think that's too far off actually. It actually does have like like especially the fight scenes there. That actually does have like a like a Star Wars kind of spin on Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It feels like to me. Of course, William missed most of the trailer there, so that's what do you guys think of that trailer? I'm looking forward to it. You already know the other side of the Phantom's hands because there's no white because I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, it's you can't do anything about that though. You can't do anything about people just wanting to just wallow in discontent about issues like that. And plus, Star Wars fandom is notoriously kind of there's always some kind of discontent, whether it's related to this or whether Han shot first or something. So yeah, you can't do anything about it. You just gotta tell your story and just roll with it. I mean, you just trust that you're what you're doing as a filmmaker and a storyteller is really you just believe in what you're doing. You can't get too hung up on things like that because that leads to a lot of reactionary decision making, as we've seen in Lucasfilm and other studios. who shall remain nameless at this time, but you guys probably already know what I'm talking about. The trailer got 45K likes for you. Really? Okay, let me look back at that real quick. Let me see where it's sitting on for me. I'm gonna look at that video, see where they liked. 43 likes. Oh well, yeah. Didn't YouTube? Yeah, didn't they remove like they had the dislike, the thumbs down there, but didn't they remove like showing the total dislike count on stuff? Because that one I just played, it says 43K likes, but it doesn't show dislikes. But again, it's like you can't get too reactionary on nerds just like going spider monkey on things. You have to, and that looks pretty good to me. I'm looking at, again. I'm very much of the opinion that the best thing we've seen out of the Disney era Star Wars has been the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian. So, and that's because they really I think really is because they committed to, they had a vision for what they were doing. It was not super predicated on the Skywalker saga. It was very much of this new character kind of off on his own journey. We're going to be doing some different things people haven't seen with Star Wars before, and like look what happened with The Mandalorian. So yeah, I think that should really be kind of like their guide, their compass for where they take Star Wars, is like that mindset they have with The Mandalorian. Let's see what else you guys got for me. Remove small dagger. Shing. Yeah. Remember the Andor premiere were 3 episodes. Yeah, that's yeah, that was a little bit. They dropped quite a few there at once. Yeah. It's probably, I mean, maybe they just have like a lower episode count, so they don't want to like just show you almost half the show already. It was like 8 episodes. No, I see what you're saying about Deliverance too, like kind of like the dark sort of forest setting there. Yeah, I can see a little bit of the Deliverance. Weren't the Sith extinct for millennia? Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but then of course Palpatine just comes back out of nowhere in Rise of Skywalker, so you could do whatever. Yeah, you could totally justify things like, oh, there was like a cluster of them that were still alive, and they've repopulated, or they've reassembled their troops or their ranks. Yeah, let me explain how they're not breaking canon with the Sith since the prequel, so they've seen the Sith in the millennia. Well, again, it's like that's around that's you can compartmentalize that with the we haven't seen Sith in a millennia, but I mean, that could imply that there were a handful that were kind of in hiding for that time, and they slowly kind of re-emerged over that period. Or just like hiding out on the snow planet, maybe. Just thought. I'm not Chappie says I'm not afraid to admit that I hit Star Wars if you guys don't care about Star Wars anymore for now after Ahsoka. All right then. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've hit Star Wars fatigue. I think to a certain I think I've hit probably Marvel fatigue, actually, personally. Not to like an absolute extent, but I mean, I've always said like post Endgame, I've had there were 3 MCU movies. Most of the shows on Disney Plus have been garbage, I think, but that's which is why I'm so glad they're taking Daredevil back to what they did on Netflix, and it looks like we're gradually seeing like the return of Marvel Netflix with the hints of everybody else returning. But as far as the MCU movies, in my opinion, there have been 3 that I would classify as great or that I loved, and those post Endgame, and those were Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings, Spider-Man: No Way Home, and Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. And even then, it's like all of those are for reasons that are external of them being MCU movies. Like, Shang-Chi is because it's a martial arts flick, Spider-Man: No Way Home because it's the ultimate Spider-Man movie, and Multiverse of Madness because it's the Sam Raimi horror movie. So they just the MCU-ness of them is kind of secondary to what I think makes them really, really good. So I think I've kind of hit Marvel fatigue to an extent. But I mean, you definitely brought back in anything. I think studio fatigue with Warner Brothers. That's for damn sure.
All right, what I miss?
You missed most of the trailer.
I saw that. The Acolyte. I saw that earlier today.
Okay.
First Star Wars project I'm looking forward to in a while because I've been kind of burnt out of being in the same really quick neighborhood that they've been in, even though it's sort of there. It's what 200, 150 years ahead or behind. So
Yeah, sorry, step away from you for a second. That was it.
So I enjoyed it. Like I said, I don't know how I feel about the show, but like I said, I've been burnt out on Star Wars because of the sheer fact that Luke, Leia, Chewie, C-3PO, R2-D2, or some derivative thereof, and it's like grow some balls, take a risk. Let's jump outside that small backyard.
That's what I was saying when you stepped away. Was that as far as I'm concerned, the best thing that has been produced in the Disney Star Wars era has been the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian because it's it's not. It has Luke at the very end of season 2, but it's not predicated on the Skywalker saga. It's all focused on Din Djarin and his story, and it's set off in a whole other corner. It's it's doing things we hadn't seen in Star Wars before. It's really got very little to do with the Jedi and Sith. So that's why
the weakness there though. It's still within that time period. It's still within that neighborhood. Even though it's not directly connected to it's still what I want them to do is go 1,000 years ahead. You know what I mean? I want them to just go ahead and
Mandalorian. That's what 10 years after Return of the Jedi, I think.
5 years, I think, right? 5 years.
Okay, yeah.
And then you already have,
that would be go jump 1,000 years ahead. You know what? Actually, I would love to. I was thinking about this actually today because it's May the 4th. Something I would love to see them do. I don't think they ever will, but I would love to see it because what do you see at the beginning of every Star Wars movie? You see that caption a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, right? So it's in the past. It's thousands of years ago in somewhere distant from Earth. So I've always wanted to see, and I thought this occurred to me today. It's like I've always wanted to see them. Okay, kind of what you said, jump ahead, thousands of years, and have them, somebody in one of these ships just make a trip to Earth. So
I don't know if I want to see him hit Earth. I want to see him hit 1,000 years, but because that gives me memories of Battlestar Galactica 80, where they did finally find Earth, and it really showed. It was bad.
I mean, really, because I've always, but that question's always hung over my head. It's like when you talk about a galaxy far, far away. It's like, I mean, just like how many? I mean, obviously, that's far. I mean, situated far away from Earth is a given, but like how exact, the exact number of light years in distance that the Star Wars, like the Galactic Empire, the Galactic Republic, is from our solar system. That's it's always kind of been on my mind, and I'm sure it's it'd be it would take. I mean, if you're taking a ship that doesn't have light speed capability, it's like you're going to probably be sailing out there for about 100 million years before you get there.
Oops.
So I don't know what you guys think in the comments. Would you like to see that question answered? Like, what is the actual distance from our solar system to where the Galactic Republic is situated in the galaxy far, far away? Or would you like to see it jump ahead 1,000 years or whatever time span, and actually some cluster of characters actually make some kind of trip to Earth, or maybe not even land on Earth, but just fly past our solar system because there's that planet and there's actually intelligent life there.
I maybe, but for me, just because once you start adding Earth to it, you start realizing just how bullshit fantasy Star Wars is versus the actual science that exists on our planet. So I don't know. I mean, but it's possible. Oh, allergies, boy! I got the door open and all the pollen is just coming in. Pollen and marijuana. That's the typical Saturday night here. They got to make that shit
Chappie District 9 Neil Blomkamp fan. The problem I have with Obi-Wan is it started as a movie. First half of the show showed that, and they created those writers in the first 3 episodes. Yeah. I actually really.
The problem I have with Obi-Wan is that it was made.
Really? You didn't think there should be an Obi-Wan solo anything?
Why? I know what happens to him in the end. There's
Well, you
no
didn't know what
sense
happened
of
to him,
drama.
you didn't know what happened to him between, so all that. So
I don't
there you
care.
go.
I know what happens to him. Here's the thing, though. How is there going to be any high drama? How is there going to be any stakes with the character when I know there's nothing's going to happen to him? That battle that he fought with Darth Vader, that battle lacked so much drama because, yeah, it was a cool battle, but it meant nothing. You knew neither man was going to be, injured to the point where you weren't going to see him again.
Yeah, but I mean, that I don't know, that doesn't take away the weight of it for me, because I mean, because it's not about like the stakes of that when you're talking about like any kind of prequel or any kind of interquel. The stakes at that point are not about. It's not about who's going to survive or not. It's about filling in the blanks for me. It's about like how did they
Okay,
get?
but yeah,
We've
but
seen
if you
point
have a
A, point B, but
conflict,
like what's point A, point 5, whatever that
part of the
term is.
conflict is who wins and who moves on. There's no meaning in the conflict. We know how that conflict ultimately ends. It's too much of their characters for it to not mean what it should mean. There's no suspense there, and plus we've delved in this Darth Vader, Obi-Wan era, just like I said, longer than we should have. Like I said, a battle between those two particular characters. Now it's different when you're talking about Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul. Obviously, we know Obi-Wan becomes an old man, but the battle with Darth Maul, we knew nothing about Darth Maul. Things like that. But when we're talking about Vader and Obi-Wan, we know how that battle ends, and it's so much a part of the Star Wars mythos. It just doesn't really do anything for me. That's why I'm done with prequels when it comes to the close Star Wars. Like I said, you have the sequel movies that basically kneecap all the other stuff that happens in between.
Yeah,
So
but I mean,
it's just
we've seen great. I mean, it was like Wonder Woman. It's like we know she's gonna make it out of that because
yeah,
she
but
has
this
to.
isn't
Be,
Wonder
Batman
Woman
ran
though.
into Justice League.
Wonder Woman hasn't spent 45 years basically with a microscope scope on every inch of every part of the history. You know what I mean? It's not a franchise to the point where Wonder Woman's a movie. You have a lot of room to move around with Wonder Woman that hasn't been explored and exhausted. You do not with Star Wars. And I think that's the biggest problem with Star Wars is that we've exhausted the space. You know what I mean? Not only have we exhausted it, but we put you in areas where it's been exhausted and you know what's going to happen. That's you can't really say that about a lot of the other ones like Wonder Woman. I mean, you're what, two movies versus
But like what I'm getting, like what you're saying though is like the idea of like prequels generally are negated because we know they have to ultimately come out of the prequel okay because we've seen them survive whatever the future story is.
And we've exhausted these two characters. We've had Obi-Wan, we've had the prequel series, we had his original. I mean, where are we going with this character that we don't? Where is there to care about this character at this point? I think that's where it would hurt Obi-Wan is that you're basically, you're retreading the same ground and trying to find space to tell a story. Then just move on. It's time to move on to tell more Star Wars stories. It doesn't always have to be connected to these guys. They've exhausted.
Well, that's why I said Mandalorian was like really. That's where.
Well, what did that give us? They gave us Boba Fett. They gave us the same. It's like going to the next cul-de-sac.
Well, that
You're
wasn't
really
the
not
fault,
leaving the same.
But that wasn't the fault of Mandalorian. That's the fault of Lucasfilm.
Well, it's one and the same. One doesn't exist without the other. So it's like it's like I said, that's where I think they've put themselves in a really bad position because they've given into the nostalgia, to the point where they're afraid to move on. I really think that they're afraid to move on. I think their shitty fan base, the part of that fan base that won't allow them to move on, they're beholden to them.
It kind of sounds like another fan base I can think of.
Yeah, it's old Trek fan all over again. And
no,
I'm saying
I was getting DC fans and specifically
DC,
Superman
DC
fans.
is nowhere. DC's nowhere near old Trek fan, and old Trek fan destroyed Trek for a while. Old Trek fan, see with DC, dumb executives destroyed it as much as more so than anything. But with Trek and a lot of like Star Wars is not destroyed; it's still making $1 billion a movie. But as far as the content and the momentum of it, I hope they never become what Trek was because Trek got to the point where its fandom shut down the product. When your fandom shuts down the product, that's a bad fandom. And in Star Wars, it's got to the point where if it's not Luke, Leia, and so on, and then we just get younger actors to play them, and once these guys go roll and die, to me that's not the answer. It's time to move on from this neighborhood. And I really hope they figure that out.
Well, do you think? Because I mean, obviously, it's been a little bit since we've seen Star Wars cinematically, and of course, they've had a few things announced. They've had the Kevin Feige one that kind of. I don't even know if we have a sit rep on that currently, but I mean that was announced. There's the one that Taika Waititi is attached to. There's a Rogue Squadron with Patty Jenkins, which was announced, then canceled, and then re-announced, which is her next thing. So how much? I mean, do you think when do you think we'll see Star Wars cinematically again?
I don't know because I with these shows, the risk is minimal. Way more minimal than than doing feature length film is. I don't know where the fan base is right now, to be honest with you, because we got a Ray movie announced.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that because
that was announced, but I mean it's I don't know there's been a whole lot of movement on that yet.
But it shows me where their mindset is. It shows me that their mindset is still in this same backyard that we've been in for most of my life. I want somebody to say, the next when they do that scroll and it says a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I want it to be, 2,000 years from the Battle of Yavin forward. That's what I want to see in the next scroll. I want to see where all this is 1,000. I want to know I'm so far away from Luke, Leia, Chewie, R2, and everything else that I can get a story that, like I said, Star Wars is more than this same old block. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and here's the thing too about that, because this is something that's occurred to me too. I think probably, at least when it comes to again the cinematic Star Wars landscape, I think part of the reason why they keep kind of falling back on just going back towards the Skywalker saga is because look at every time we've gotten a Star Wars trilogy, there's always these really extended gaps between them. So in each instance, it's whenever Star Wars is whenever a new Star Wars movie is coming along, it's in a very literal way. I mean it's a comeback. I mean it's a return to the thing that you were previously really enthralled with and invested in, which was
I was invested in Captain Kirk, but we don't go back there. If that's not the core of the story, I still got Jean-Luc Picard. I still got Janeway. I still got Benjamin Sisko. I see what I mean. It's you could still tell these stories without basically, like I said, it's almost like it's fear. It's we're afraid that our man babies, if it doesn't have Skywalker in it, they won't come. And
that's my point. Is that because there's every time they start a new trilogy, there's always these extended gaps between them. It's I think they'll, because of the it's a mix of the idea of the fear of of upsetting the fan base, and also the idea of absence makes the heart grow fonder. So you have that combination, and it's that you get those together, and that equals nostalgia is our solution.
Here's the thing: fanboys can be pussies. Executives cannot. By virtue of you running a studio, company, conglomerate, whatever the fuck it is, you cannot have that mindset. You cannot.
Well, I'm not saying I agree. I'm not saying I agree with that business model.
You have to. I think that's what it is. Question is that's the answer. They're being pussies when it comes to this. They're so afraid. They no one can let go of the Skywalker saga, and I'm that's all Star Wars is to you. That's like saying Trek is just Kirk, and we know that not to be true. So this big galaxy, this big space opera is all about one really small backyard at this point. We're afraid to go into the city, and that's what it seems like to me. That's the wrong answer, and it keeps us in the same these decisions, because they take away a lot of options when they're afraid to leave the house. So I think that's it. People, well, you can't tell Star Wars with Lucas. Yeah, you can. Yes, you can. It's called using an imagination. And that's why I'm burnt out of Star Wars. I mean, I'll look at some of this stuff. Acolyte is further away, but like I said, I want to get to the point where this Star Wars story no longer depends on the old safe, wussified. Oh, I'm afraid to. No, you cannot be. You cannot run a franchise and be. Look at the pussies who ran franchise. Look where that's led us. Do we want to go down that road with Star Wars? You know, let's think outside the box. You've had 45 years of these characters. I don't want younger actors playing these same damn characters anymore. I'm done with these characters. I've gotten my fill of these characters. These characters have been around since I was 3 years old. I don't need to see any more Luke. I don't need to see another Skywalker for the rest of my life. I saw them. And they don't think that there's other people out there, a new generation of Star Wars fans that might, think a little bit differently. Like I said, Trek usually is the bad example, but Trek has a better, they've expanded their universe. Every time they do something, their universe expands. Every time Star Wars does something, the universe gets smaller or stays the same. And it's like, that's why I'm turned off of it. Acolyte looks like, some of the,
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's Skywalker heavy. So
yeah, but Clone Wars. Bad. I mean, all these, just like I said, it's literally, can't we move on from this era? Like I said, Next Generation took us 85 years into the future. I mean, Discovery takes us 1,000 years into the future. So I would, like I said, it's weird that I'm using, Star Trek as an example when they have some of the shittiest fans in all of fandom. But at least at some point, you got J.J. Abrams came in and they basically said, "Come with us, or you can stay on the sidelines," and it came with them.
Well,
and
yeah,
that movie
ironically,
opened the door for a whole bunch of other things.
And ironically, that was kind of the opposite when they ended up doing Rise of Skywalker, where it was like that was a lot more acquiescing to the backlash.
Nah, I mean, and that's because Disney and them were like, "Oh no, they hate us, they don't like us." You know what? Like I said, they had that attitude in Star Trek. In 2004, 2005, they gave in mainly because UPN was a weak network that was afraid to lose what they thought was that core base. They gave in, but Disney's just in a multi-billion-dollar, franchise, man. Show some balls, man.
I remember actually, speaking of Rise of Skywalker, because that's December 2019 that came out, and of course that went through, I mean, all kinds of behind-the-scenes hell, and what happened a month before it came out was the big release the Snyder Cut in November 17th push by the fandom. So I remember when and I mean I like Rise of Skywalker, but it's kind of like I liked it, but I wanted to love it. So it's like it's probably my least favorite.
I thought the last two movies were hard to sit through. I wanted to get up and walk out.
It's probably my least favorite of the sequels. But it's like how's it going, Ruth? You posted earlier. It's like, I miss like my sci-fi center family today.
I know, I saw. I didn't think I was coming on today, so there you go.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we were either. So I DM'd you.
I feel like shit, by the way. I feel like shit. I'm tired. My eyeballs are dry. Allergies are killing me, but I'm on an adrenaline rush because the day was everything I needed it to be. Both on a content level and on a customer level. So I'm like on a high. I probably should be home right now. I probably should be 4 Benadryls in to whatever coma I'm going to put myself into. But like I said, it's got back to the old Sci-Fi Center days where, like I told you, I would work like 40 hours straight and then do a Magic tournament because I would be on adrenaline and caffeine and no-dose and Jolt. Stay the fuck away from Jolt, people. If anywhere in this world Jolt still exists, stay away from it. It will. I'm pretty sure whenever I leave this planet, it's going to be 10 years earlier because of what Jolt did to me. I'm pretty sure somewhere in NASA, somewhere in a factory, they're using Jolt to run the factory. That shit was like battery acid and sugar, and I think that's all that was in it. In fact, it just gave me a jolt thinking about it. But I shouldn't be here today, but tonight. But I am, because like I said, I had a lot of fun today. I posted some pictures. But So I'm going to answer this question here. William, do you think there is a more potential stories to tell from the Old Republic 2024, the Skywalker saga, since they won't go in the future? I would like to see them go back to if you look at the thumbnail, one of the reasons I bought that up, I put it on because that's the old Knights of the Old Republic, which is 4,000 years before the Battle of Yavin. I would even go for that. Because it's so far removed. But I also would like to see something that goes into the future. I mean, because like I said, I want some new territory. I want some new stuff to, that I haven't seen. I want to go to a place where I don't know where it's ultimately going to end up. And I think it's time for them to grow a pairing and give us that. You'll have your people that will never get over Luke and Leia, and that's their life, and that was my life. But at the same time, here's the thing that Star Trek did. Begrudgingly, but they did it. They basically created new fans. They cultivated new fans. They grew their fan base, and they aimed their trajectory towards the future fans. And basically we had to come to terms with it. The people who've been fans for decades had to come to terms with that this franchise, if you don't want it to die, has to grow and be accessible to other people. And that's what Star Wars has got to become to. It's got to grow beyond that. It's got to, once the new generation watches all that, they need to have their Star Wars, just like the next generation folk had their Star Trek, and then they revered the rest of the Trek. That's what Star Wars needs. I think it needs to open itself up so that the generation that's coming into it now has their Star Wars instead of my Star Wars. You new kids are watching my old shit that I grew up with. That ain't necessarily cool. That's not how you grow. That's my opinion. Okie dokie.
By the way, real quick, Droga left one here that is definitely trolling, but I do want to highlight because it is kind of
trolling. You encourage his trolling by bringing that shit up. Right?
I saw you post this on social media. I started watching Van Helsing today. I liked it more than Rebel Moon. Droga, would you just reserve judgment until we see? I mean, first of all, this fandom, I think we should be able to logically infer with this particular filmmaker, we're most likely going to get our money's worth out of the longer version. Okay. But then the other thing too, you mentioned Van Helsing, which is, go ahead and tell me in the comments.
That wasn't on the bingo card. That movie was not on the bingo card for tonight.
Well,
but I didn't have one.
That's why I wanted to highlight this, because it's like, actually it's about 20. Yeah, it's about 20 years ago. I saw that with my cousin when we took a trip back home stateside when we were living in Europe. And I saw that with my cousin, my sister, because we had family in Ohio, so he took us to see that. So I was really looking forward. And listen, I like Van Helsing. It's kind of a Halloween thing I have on every year, but it's stupid. It's so stupid, and it's like Stephen Summers. I mean, man, it's like The Mummy. I love the first one. The first Mummy is like, that's an all timer.
I actually like the second one too.
The Mummy Returns. I like it, but it's stupid as hell.
Well, the whole the franchise was kind of ridiculous, but it was fun. I mean, here's some things to be ridiculous, but still be fun.
Yeah. But the trap again with Mummy Returns and Van Helsing. I think Mummy Returns a little bit more so. It's like I like them. Well, first of all, it's got horrendous CGI in it, even for the time. I.e., The Rock is the Scorpion King. But those two, it's like he just keeps falling into this trap. And I don't know what he's been up to lately. It's like, I mean, I'd like to see him make a kind of because he's been a little bit quiet lately. But I'd like to see him make a comeback. But Stephen Summers. But with those two, so he just keeps falling into this trap of like of the writing like turns into like video game rules, where basically it's a video game quest of like the main character. Okay, you have to go here, and you have to get this artifact, and then you have to.
But that's what makes it work, though.
You have to make this artifact is reflected in the full moon on the
jewel
vernal equinox. Yeah, it's
a proven formula that works.
But it's not but there's no character development or three-dimensional storytelling to that.
Listen, we're not going to the Mummy, any Mummy movie to see character development. I'm sorry, man. By the way, on topic, why isn't the Fall Guy making a lot of money? I thought that movie was going.
Oh yeah, that's it.
kill the box office, man. Everybody I've talked
Yeah.
to has loved that movie.
Well, because I mean, obviously the full numbers aren't in, but it's like projected to end the weekend with like 30 million, which of course by summer movie opening weekend standards is not what we
It's got
expect.
Ryan Gosling in it. Dude. It looks fun. I haven't seen it, but I know people.
I have.
some
It's pretty good.
Yeah, some of the jokes kind of fall flat, but that's every movie ever made. But everybody I've talked to has had fun with it. So it's like, and here's the thing though, and people, we're all, like I said, don't blame the industry. Listen, people just don't want to go to the movie theaters right now. They know it's streaming, and guess who runs the streaming services? The studios. So somewhere in the middle, the movie theaters are getting just getting squeezed.
Yeah,
because
I'm kind of wonder if because again, like I said last summer, really all of last year was. I mean, if you look at the trend, it was mostly bombs and underperformers with a handful of big hits, and I'm kind of wondering, okay, are we going to see a repeat of that this year? Because that's going to really not be good for the theater industry.
And like I said, they need to come to a revenue sharing agreement where everybody gets a piece of the pie to where nobody is failing at any given time. And I think that it's it's in everybody's best interest. The candy companies, people who buy ad time. I mean, everybody needs to sit down and put a bunch of money in that makes it worth it for them, and that needs to be cut up to where somebody at least makes a base level of profit to where they don't suffer, because I don't want the theaters to go away. But I don't. I mean, I see the consumer. The consumer is driving this. You know what? The consumer is saying, we're not going to go see these movies until they end up on streaming. And I can't blame, like I said, I can't blame Amazon for the bookstore shutting down. The consumer didn't want to go to the bookstore anymore. I can't blame any of these things for going away. A record, right? Physical media. I want physical media to stay around forever. But who can I blame?
Well, and like Boy Kills World is, which for me, I kind of looked at that as like the beginning of the summer movie season last week. It's like I saw it twice last weekend because I thought it was awesome. I loved it. And of course, when I got with my guys, and they're rating it, yeah. But it's already gone from my theater.
That was on the bingo card.
Yeah, well, it's already gone from my theater, so it's gonna be on VOD by Memorial Day.
Well, a natural movie like that really is designed.
Yeah,
some of these movies are designed.
That's where they're.
That's a movie. We can sit down and we can be like, this is fun. Get your pizza there. Because for some people, going to the theater is not convenient. For like me right now, unless we're doing an advanced screening, even when we do those, I won't be at my own advanced screening for Planet of the Apes on Tuesday, and I really want to go see that movie. But I can't be everywhere, and it's just the average consumer. Has kids and stuff like that. Hold on for a second. You hear?
Yeah. Let me go.
No, I'll head to unlock it for right now. All right. I'm about to go ahead and then physically shut down the Star Wars event. My AV guy's here to get his stuff. Okay. But by the way, the last of the free comic, everything has gone.
That's the very last one you have.
Very last one I have. Well,
you have one free comic left.
Yep, two
of
the same one. Okay. Yeah, it was a good year. It was a good time. I mean, I posted pictures.
It's pretty good turnout at my place today too, because I went checked it out. I got some of the free ones they had today. I got like the Street Fighter one, I got the Star Wars one, I got the Spider-Man one, I got the DC one. What was the impact? I got them right over here. Let me.
Some of them we didn't get at all because of the way the
Absolute Power. I was like, I was still getting this.
I got that. People were coming. They were hunting that one down. The Spider-Man one, like I said, I had extra ones of those. The blood hunt one was good. So hey, I'm gonna go let this guy in. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll show you guys all the ones I got today. Free comic book day. Like I said, Absolute Power. I got Blood Hunt. This is all I got from my local comic book store. Free comic book day today. I got Street Fighter Final Fight. That. What I got? This is the manga scene. Far Cry. Actually, which one did they tell me? They told me one of these is like, I think it might have been, I think it was Blood Hunt. They said it was like that was they for whatever reason, like they were said, oh, you get more than 5 because you get one more than 5 because you usually limits 5. But so I'm getting 6. So and I got of course I got Spider-Man, and of course bidding for today got Star Wars. So that was my free comic book day haul there. But yeah, going back to this comment here from Droga, yeah, I like Van Helsing. It's I was just I was in that's I mean because it's a cool concept. You get the dude from Dracula who's kind of brings the operation. You like turn him into an action hero and you bring all the Universal monsters together in one movie, and you'll make it. It's a really cool concept, and it's like so. It's a very entertaining movie. I love it, but it's again, I realized this last Halloween when I kind of had it on for Halloween that year was I think Mummy Returns though suffers much more from this problem though, where it's like it falls into the quest. Like okay, we got it. Like Mummy Returns, like he has like that bracelet on his arm. It's like okay, it's gonna point you to this city, and then when you get there, it's gonna point you over here, and then you're gonna make the same castle that says okay, now you got to go this place, and then it's like then you're gonna like reflect it off the diamond in the middle, and it's gonna like point directly to where the Ark of the Covenant was hidden, and then you're gonna go there. It's gonna, and this it's just and so much of the and then the rules like okay now if Imhotep like takes out the Scorpion King with the spear, then he gets control of the like army of the dog people to conquer the world with. But if Rick O'Connell does okay, then you can do it, and you could say okay you got control of it now, and you could send the Scorpion King back down to hell. So yeah, it's like I get what William's saying. It's like we're not going to these things for like riveting character development or anything, but it's like you could just see how just paper thin the character development really is in these. And Van Helsing kind of has the little bit of that falls into as much as I dig it. I think Van Helsing is probably pretty close second to me for Stephen Summers his Universal horror monster homages to the Mummy, the first Mummy, definitely hit top spot. Van Helsing again, very fun movie, but it falls in that. It's like okay, Dracula. It's like he has to bring you get bit by Dracula, and it's like okay, you're gonna turn to a werewolf, or you get bit by the werewolf, you turn to a werewolf, but we got 12 minutes to get the antidote into you before you're a werewolf permanently. And oh, by the way, it's like the werewolf is the only being bit by a werewolf is the only thing that can kill Dracula. And if you kill Dracula, that takes out everybody who's ever been turned into a vampire by him, including his children. It's like us. It's like it's a very again it's a video game much more so than it's a movie. And this I'm it's the kind of thing where it's like I know it's not good, but I love it anyway. But I can't not point out it's like oh there's just no it's just you're just explaining rules to me all along the way. There's not a lot of depth to the characters here or the storytelling. It's as Martin Scorsese, like if that's what he thinks about Marvel, they think about superheroes, theme park ride. That's probably I can't even imagine. That's probably what he would say about like Mummy Returns or Van Helsing or anything. Like, yeah, I mean those are literally a theme park ride because that's what it is. It's like okay, we're going here, we're doing this, we're getting that, we're grabbing this, we're pointing this over there, and then we get to the final stage, and then we got to take out the final boss. But you have to take him out this very specific way because if you do it, or if the other bad guy beats it to it, he wins it. So, yeah, that was a little bit of I saw your comment there, Droga, and I kind of had to highlight that where it's like Van Helsing. I actually should have mentioned that because I think it was last night. I think Ray had asked us like, what are some guilty pleasures of mine? I would probably put Van Helsing in that because like I love it, but my God, it's stupid. The same with Mummy Returns. Mummy Returns again. It is not good on any level whatsoever. But I do enjoy it. If I have it on, or if it's on, I catch channel surfing, or if I float past it on streaming, which is probably more likely these days. It's like I'll just get caught up in it. I'll just get because again, Stephen Summers like he knows how to like do a good fireworks show is maybe the way to put it. That's kind of what he is. Where his strengths are really allied. He's a showman. He's a really he's great with he's great with like the pyrotechnics. He's great with the action, which of course that's definitely my genre. He's he's great on just putting on. He's great with spectacle. He's great with the fireworks show, but it's like just so often he's fallen into this trap of like, okay, it's going here. It's point A to point B, and then to point C, and then to point D, and then when you finally get to point Z, here's everything you have to do to cross the finish line, and you have to do it in a very specific way, or it's like you're not going to, or the victory's going to go to the bad guys. So yeah, I had to get that off my chest there about Van Helsing. I'll definitely still have it on for Halloween this year because I do love it. It's silly, but I do love it. And Hugh Jackman is pretty awesome. It's probably because that was when that was in the middle of his the early days of his tenure as Wolverine. And like I said, it's very cool. It's very cool conceptually. The idea, because it is kind of establishing a bit of a cinematic universe, and where you've got like all the universal monsters coexisting, and you've established Van Helsing as like, you reimagine him as like he's a monster hunter. He's a little bit like Blade, and so it's very cool conceptually. It's very entertaining. You just have to know that you're going into. In a very real sense, this is a roller coaster. This is not a story. But I do love it on that level. So, I mean, everything I said there probably makes it sound like I hate it, but I do really like Van Helsing. But it's just something, it's just something I had. When Mummy Returns, even more so, falls in all that trap. And of course, as we all know, that The Rock, Scorpion King CGI, yeah. I mean, it hasn't aged well, and even back then it wasn't good. So, but Drogo, was it your first time ever seeing Van Helsing? Go ahead and let me know in the comments there, man. I start clearing my throat there, guys. Aaron, how's it going? Good day, William, Brad, and all those people in the chat. Happy for your comp day as well. The fifth element day here down under. Yes, you mentioned, well, because it's the fifth for you, and fifth for most of the states too. Yes. What else do you guys got for me? I wonder who would have been Van Helsing. Oh, probably would have been Tom Cruise. Yeah, Fall Guy is pretty good. I did enjoy it, but yeah, I think between last summer and this, I mean, we might be seeing like the evolution of what theaters are going to kind of become. Yeah, again, I like William. I don't want the theaters to go away, but I mean, it's like they're definitely, with the rise of streaming, with the economics of so many things now, they're going to have to. There's going to be an evolution. There's going to be an adaptation to like what theaters kind of represent. I think I think maybe in the next couple of years, I mean, we might be seeing them only like just showing tent poles, and like everything else is like a streaming release. Which it is what it is on that front. But again, you gotta if the business has to adapt to the times. It's just there's just no way around that. Fall Guy is pretty good though. Oh, and if you haven't seen Fall Guy, by the way, stay through the credits. I'll leave it at that because there is a nice little twist at the end. There's a cameo. I won't say who it is. I will say this individual is a member, is part of the cast of Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's all I'll say. I won't identify this individual, but it's pretty good. It's a pretty it was pretty cool kind of twist on the ending there. Cameo at the end. Can't wait to see both Fall Guy. Yeah, Furiosa I'm looking forward to. Because Mad Max Fury Road, I mean, that kicked so much ass. That's yeah. I mean, George Miller, that he knows how to shoot. He knows how to do a car chase movie like better than anyone alive. He understands the science of car chases and stunt work and post-apocalyptic stuff. So I'm looking forward to Furiosa. That's probably one of my most anticipated for this summer is Furiosa. I am very, very much looking forward to it. And yeah, Fall Guy, as I said, I saw that last night. It was pretty good. Let's see what else you guys got. Well, I'll wait for this one until Wayne comes back because it's addressing him specifically. I enjoyed Hugh Jackman. Yeah, like I said, I saw it. Because my family were living in Europe at the time. This is actually when it came out. It was like I was actually wrapping up my junior year of high school, so we had taken a trip back stateside to visit some family in Ohio, and that was right when it was coming out. So I saw it with my cousin and my sister, at the theater there. So we would have had to wait probably like another month and a half, for it to get over to us. And I know they have changed this. Stuff gets over there way sooner now. Since I left, yeah. Like to give a little bit of context, like the original Spider-Man, that came out like I think first weekend of May 2002. I saw that in that theater on the base second, like right around 4th of July. It took it 2 months to get to us, and that was back then. So like, again, I know they've definitely shortened that up now.
That's because you know why that happens, right?
Yeah. I know why I don't like it, but I know why. But late after
what? Oh, we get them free. We don't get any. The studios don't charge bases for the movies, so we basically get them. They got them free, and then they could make money off of them by it was a way to raise money, but it was like a tax write off because you're donating to the government. It's basically free. That's why it took so long, because you weren't the studios weren't losing any money. And then
by the way, Germany always got it. But I mean, because that was where I really saw Terminator 3. I saw that because we had taken a trip to Germany at the time. So Germany, whenever like a new movie would come out, the bases in Germany, they would get it like maybe like within like a week or two when it came out. So it would get to them first, and then it would come down to us. But it always got to us last. So
yeah, Germany is the largest economy in Europe. Yeah. So you want to make that first dollar. When it comes to Germany and the German civilian population that are getting it, whereas the other ones, it's the bases. But same with armed forces. When I was overseas and we couldn't watch, when we watched the Super Bowl, we didn't get the Super Bowl commercials because the programming was being donated to us. So they didn't want to do it that way. So you would get like a little after show with all the Super Bowl commercials in it. But Super Bowl for us was like 4:00 in the morning. It's hilarious.
Yeah, they had some freaky times too over there. Because again, between like YouTube and social media and the internet, and it's definitely the time frame is. I mean, I can't even imagine like trying to avoid living, because I was like Vicenza was where my family was stationed in Italy. I mean, I can't even imagine like that kind of like gap. I mean, trying to avoid spoilers like the snap today with that kind of, it's like that would have been so. But people my folks, they took a trip back to the base last September, and they were telling me, yeah, it's like no, they've you would not, Brad, for anything you were looking forward to. If you're living here today, you would not be waiting nearly as long as you used to.
Yeah, I believe what screwed bookstores like Barnes and Nobles and other stores was the Nook and the Kindle. People didn't get in the bookstore. Well, that's still the consumer. The consumer made that decision. It always comes back to the consumer. If we never picked up the Nook and the Kindle, if we said this is not the way we want our books, then the corporations would have no choice but to follow the money trail. So it all comes back to the consumer. The consumers killed physical media. The consumers killed record stores en masse. The consumers killed, bookstores. The consumer killed all that. All the corporations did was make the adjustment to where there was the money was coming from. Let's see. Question: well, with a day like Free Comic Day, how many free comics do you let a person have? Generally, I let them have one of each title that I have.
No, my source is 5 total. Yeah. Well, go ahead and finish. I'll make my point.
Yeah. To me, it's some stores do limitations, to make it last. To me, I have a different approach to it, simply because I'm competing with much larger stores that have a much larger local following because of where they're at and the resources that they have. I'm in the middle of the city, so I'm not getting as that that much of the local dollar because of the price of gas, getting to me, things like that. So most of mine are going to be tourists. So if I get you in my store as a local at all, I don't want to limit you because I want to reward you for coming out of your way, going out of your box and picking me today. So I load them up.
Yeah, but what you're saying about physical media, it's like this. This is when Walmart did the steelbook release of ZSGL. Yeah, this is this is it right here. It's like but it wasn't at my Walmart, so I ordered this online. So this, and I think it's like, I think with what you're saying there, it's because of course Best Buy has phased out selling physical media. I think Target has said they're going to as well. So I think what I did for this, like, it's going to be a lot more complex as far as people who are collectors of physical media. It's like, I mean, most of when I get something on Blu-ray now, it's like more often than not, I'm going to be ordering it. So I think that's probably going to be like much more common. It's like you're going to do what I did to get this right here. And God, I love holding this in my hand so much after all these years. This is
it'll come back. Physical media will come back when you guys want it to come back. It's supply and demand. It's supply. When the streaming numbers go down and people start ordering more on more stuff off of physical media, then they'll have no choice, but to adjust the course to bring you that. They're in business to make money. They're going to go where the money is. But the consumer is the boss when it comes to when I hear, well, they got rid of Best Buy's not selling it anymore. Yeah, because you guys weren't buying it. Not in the numbers that it was worth it for a retail chain. It's still always going to be worth it for the studio to make it because the profit margin, no matter what, on a physical media is high. So that's what I'm always saying. When there are certain instances where you could sell it, you just got to sell the neat stuff. Like you wouldn't, like the Justice League situation I was telling you about, those type of things would be collector's items and be rare. They would sell out, and then you could make different versions of them. But just a regular old, Beverly Hills Cop, whatever DVD Blu-ray, that's not moving. That movie, that there's nothing to that movie that you can make it to where it will be something special to hold in your hand, and that's what you have to do with physical media. If you want somebody to buy something that you can pick up, you have to make it special for them.
And by the way, Droga Droga DM me this, wanted me to share it. So, Droga, Droga, I can assure you at this point, absolutely nobody here believes that you are not Venom. Whatever efforts you were making to hide your.
Why are you gonna fuck up my good time with that bullshit?
Oh, he could have been Bane. He could have been Bane there. You wanted him to really be rain on your parade.
To the Saber Duel of Nevada, my apologies.
And he's probably working on a Photoshop of Bane in this photo as we speak. Yes, yeah, Droga. Yes, you're not Venom. Yeah, and I'm like, what lie can I make up right now that's gonna?
By the way, the non-bastardized version of that is on my my social media.
Yeah, come on! I'd love to see Bane with a lightsaber, Venom. Well, both of them. I'd love to see Venom and Bane in a lightsaber fight. That's awesome.
Like I said, and I know some of you duelists are watching the show because I told you because we were going to show them some of that stuff. Sorry. Let's see. So yeah, one each of each title. In years where I had the whole entire all of them, all the levels, I let them in. Like I said, we had families come in, and sometimes a family can wipe out everything, but each family member will ever get one. You kind of prepare for that, but they're here to give away, so it's like you don't really want to be sitting on them. So like I said, I have 2 left, so I aimed exactly where I wanted to be by the time I walk out of here tonight. I didn't want any free comics left because it's Free Comic Day, not Free Comic Days. They did that back during COVID where they split it up, and it was like one of the worst things they ever did. So.
Yeah, and you have like just those 2 issues. That's all you have left from what?
That's it.
Okay.
Yep, that's it. I made sure that like I said, I really, and then when I thought I might have a little bit more left over, I added on like, here, take a couple of them, but the exhibitionists are greedy. Once again, though, all that is controlled by the customer. No matter how greedy a seller is, it's always going to be up to the buyer. You can raise a price of this comic book to $10, and if I buy it, then I've justified your greed. But if I don't buy it, then I have all the power as a consumer. So yeah.
I got so Anthony. No, not Vicenza, not Vincenzo. And the base we were at, it's called Caserma Ederle, which give you an idea geographically, it's about an hour. I always forget where it's hour south or north of Venice tell you like where it is in the Italian landscape. So we were up right next to Venice, which made a day trip to Venice very easy. My folks did that all the time. Actually, I think about it is like a trip from Vicenza to Rome actually took longer than you probably would think looking Italy on the map, because it's it's not a big country, but it was a good 6-7 hour drive if I remember correctly. But I had a friend who's warm. That's cool, man.
No, I'm looking forward to it from the city's point of view, because you're going to get a lot of tourists in. It's going to be like whenever everybody who bitched and moaned about we don't need a Legion Stadium. Why does it have to be taxpayers' money? They thought from a local's point of view, and we're a tourist town, so they're not building it for us. They're building it to bring in. How you doing? They're building it to bring in.
Do you guys know where the awesome karaoke is?
Karaoke?
Yeah.
What's the address?
It's A21.
A21 is way on the other side.
Oh.
So that building in the middle and those building on the outskirts, those are your A's. Yeah, the ones in the middle and the ones on the corner. No karaoke here, but you're gonna it's gonna be good for tourism. It's gonna be good for tax revenue. And I remember when they built Allegiant Stadium, everybody bitched and moaned about it. We don't need this. I'm like, yeah, you as a local. I'm not going out there, but I'm glad because it's bringing people to Vegas, and when I'm 75% tourist, that's good. I will not be going to it though. I don't think I'd be. It's a mess. Like I stayed away from Super Bowl. The only time I went down is when we went for the Zack Snyder thing for Netflix. That's as close as I got to the Strip because Vegas is still a smaller town. I'm glad we got it, but I don't want to be anywhere near that. And in Allegiant Stadium, the seats are going to be super expensive because they're going to be built for tourists. And I can watch it right here. So I'm happy we got it. I'm happy, Las Vegas it justifies the building of that stadium. But as far as excited, you know what? Maybe, yeah, because I'm going to get thousands and thousands of wrestling fans converging on this city. So that means there's going to be a lot of independent wrestling going on. That's also good for the local economy. So excited personally, nah. Excited for a Vegas, yeah. All right. Let's see.
Yeah, let's see what else is good.
We're
gonna do it. Yeah, we're gonna let the inmates run the asylum now.
Yeah, we're gonna like I said, this is an abbreviated show. I think we're safe because I don't see Spider-Man in there. So
he's definitely gonna be in tomorrow. Now, even hears he said that. I just mentioned that. Like we're, I just looked up on the map. It's actually, it's like northwest of Venice, so it's like it's a little bit to the.
Ruth, if you want to, you can do it. I will put you on the air and you can sing. Here we go. No, Joker, you don't bring him in. No, you're already getting on my nerves. If you get on my nerves in the chat, I know you're going to get on my nerves in live action.
Oh, Rhea's going panel. Oh, yeah, panel time. Panel time.
Yeah.
Let's go, Nancy.
Damn, I was about to dump you, but Brad put you on, so darn
it. William, really? Am I that bad?
It's getting worse. It's about to get worse.
Clint.
Hey, William. What I was asking in the chat is, where do you think, if the NBA brings a team to Vegas, where exactly would they put the stadium? Or do you think they play it in the arena next to UNLV?
No, they'll play in T-Mobile.
Oh, so they would share the stadium with the Golden Knights?
Yep, exactly what the Kings do in LA. They share crypto.
And are they gonna?
Where are they? Matter of fact, guys, almost pretty much most of the North American or United States teams that in a major city share NHL, share an arena with an NHL. I know for the fact that
San Jose. Oh, wait, not true.
What? Most of them.
San Jose doesn't.
San
The
Jose
Sharks
doesn't have
don't.
an NBA team.
Isn't there a team in San Francisco for?
That's Golden State. That's not San Jose though. That's close.
Oh
but
no, my mistake. I thought there was an NHL team in San Francisco.
Nah, for about 50 years, you used to have the California Golden Seals, and they went defunct.
Going there
So
across
no,
the street?
you'll have Florida. The Panthers play where the Heat play. The Rangers.
No,
play.
they don't. No, they don't.
What do they play?
They play in BB&T Arena. They play in Sunrise. They don't share. Both the teams in Florida have their own stadium.
You sure about that? I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, no, I'm sure.
But
I live here.
The Blackhawks play where the Bulls play.
Yeah,
it's just who Corzinoshi?
Oh, we lost him. Yeah.
No, his device is not connected. Yeah, most of them though. You have your exceptions, but it's just economical.
Does Dallas share it with the?
Yeah, Dallas plays where the Mavericks play.
Okay.
It's just cheaper and it's just better. You got a better chance.
Did the Devils share it with the New Jersey Nets?
They did until they moved to Brooklyn.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
because it's expensive to build just an exclusive hockey stadium because of the ice and the pipes and all that.
So you think once they bring back Seattle to the NBA, the Supersonics, they're going to share the stadium with the Kraken?
Yeah.
And Portland, if they get a hockey team, they share it with.
Portland's probably never going to get a hockey team, but yeah, because Portland's not going to pony up the money. Most of these places won't pony up the money for an exclusive stadium if there's something that already can be worked. Like I said, it's just, when you build these things, you build them so that they can be used in that manner. So, but yeah, Vegas would play a team. Yeah, and they should have never put that team there to begin with. So,
rubber game tomorrow. Woo!
It sucks because the people that did show up to the Coyotes games were in on it, but it's just they had bad ownership.
Do the Raptors and Maple Leafs share the same stadium?
Where do the Raptors play?
They play in Toronto.
I know that, dude. What stadium? What arena do they play in? Hold on, let me look.
I'm pretty sure they share the stadium with unless I'm thinking of the stadium, the Blue Jays.
All right, they play at Scotiabank, and yeah, it's the Raptors and the Maple Leafs both play. Yeah, it's just easy. It's just easy for that because it's super expensive.
Cheap. Yeah, you're right. I'm surprised Buffalo didn't share a stadium. Both Buffalo teams didn't share a stadium event at some point.
They did. They did the stadium series in Buffalo. But it's
what I'm saying, I'm surprised they didn't. The football team and the hockey team didn't share a stadium at some point.
It's too Buffalo. Orchard Park is massive that you wouldn't be able to fill it. It's just it's too big. Plus, who wants to sit out in that shit? Hockey's played in the winter. Buffalo's like the North Pole, so yeah, we don't want to do that shit. Cleveland people do it,
I heard they're starting to talk about building a NBA basketball stadium here in Vegas. Specifically,
I don't think it's going to happen, though. I don't think it's going to happen.
They're going to build a stadium for the Oakland A's. I know that.
Well, yeah, but that's baseball, and plus, that's
who cares about the Oakland A's?
But see, here's the thing. There's another thing that people are like, well, we'll get the A's. The A's could go 0-162. It's not about the team. It's about the arena and the events you can host in it. We're getting WrestleMania. We would not be getting another WrestleMania if we didn't have Allegiant Stadium. We haven't had WrestleMania in 31 years since 1993. All right.
Is the Apex big enough to hold a WrestleMania or a pay-per-view for WWE?
The Apex,
where the UFC is.
The Apex.
What you talking about, man?
The UFC Apex, the stadium.
Oh no, that's that's not. I don't even think they hold. They're gonna have. First of all, they're contracted to host their events either at MGM or T-Mobile anyway. But I don't think the Apex is big enough.
No, that's why. So T-Mobile or MGM are not big enough to hold a massive event like WrestleMania on the Strip.
No. They've held SummerSlam there, but no, because okay,
T-Mobile's
so
pretty big.
yeah, but you're talking about T-Mobile's about 18,000 maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I've walked past it a few times, and my God,
Well,
that
I've been
thing's
in it.
huge.
It's
big.
25,000. It's 25,000.
When you're talking about WrestleMania, you want at least 35. How much is Allegiant? Let's see,
65.
yeah,
75,000.
that's
I'll be right back.
then
guys.
that's actually small for a WrestleMania, but it's the biggest thing we got.
Yeah, no, and I think for me, WWE sometimes over exaggerates. They always say they sell out, but I really don't think they sell out. Like they always
They do pretty
advertise
well.
that they're sold out and stuff like that for WrestleMania or Royal Rumble or something. But I really think they're just inflating their numbers.
All right,
to make it
T-Mobile holds
seem-
20,000.
Huh?
So T-Mobile holds 20,000, which and it all depends on what kind of configuration too, because there's different.
That's what I'm saying. Can't they split WrestleMania between T-Mobile and MGM? The MGM.
Logistically, no. Okay, big difference here. Allegiant Stadium holds 65,000, so that's way more. That's why, and they'll sell all 65,000 of those tickets. They'll sell them, and they'll sell them for a high price because everybody wants to come to Vegas anyway. And now they're going to plan their vacations. People right now, as we speak, even though it's a year away and they moved it later in the month, people right now are planning their vacations from all over the world to come to WrestleMania. So they're going to sell it.
And do the in-state people actually get cheaper prices for tickets?
No. We get fucked. So no.
I've always assumed
that we're gonna
in-state
get shut. The local market for these things generally gets shut out because it's not for us. Because a tourist is gonna pay. He's gonna set up his finances for the next year to get to WrestleMania and get all the expensive stuff, all the expensive weed, all the dispensaries, everything that he wants to do to enjoy Vegas. He's saving up for that, right? Whereas the locals, we're just trying to survive.
and Vegas has a whole bunch of pretty lights to sucker you in, man.
Hell yeah. This like I said, people said we didn't need a Allegiant Stadium. I'm like, what are you on right now? I mean, we almost lost the NFR because of that. Because they were doing it down at Thomas and Mack, which was horrible for.
No,
that.
that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think I thought if they have an NBA team, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think they would use Thomas and Mack as the NBA stadium?
No. The NBA would never approve it.
They're real talk about building an NBA ready stadium here in Vegas.
They're talking about it. I don't think it's going to happen.
Hi, Ray.
I heard it brought up. I don't think it's going to happen. Like I said, and the reason why is because they're going to look at T-Mobile and be like, why not here?
And then,
you know what I mean?
Then also I heard they're going to build the world's largest resort, tallest resort here too.
That I believe.
Yo, what's up, Kosa? What's up, everyone in the panel?
Hey,
Rhea.
Rhea.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I don't think Kosa, you joined us on a panel yet on this channel, huh?
I've been on some of the watch shows and some of the other things, but not so
I'd be missing.
I avoided it. I avoided it as long as possible until I couldn't anymore. Then maybe it was.
William, is it that bad?
I'm just kidding.
No, like yeah, he's
I know.
Like I love how
All
like
good.
you're popping up now. Like I've kind of bopped around a little bit to channel, like for a few years, and like I always see you in the chat, or I occasionally see you, and like I never really got to engage like with your content or any like sort of movie talk. So I'm glad you're popping up and you're engaging with stuff and you're sharing your interests on Twitter. I love it.
Yeah.
I love the name. I love the name. Nerd Kozalicious, like this nerd of ours.
Yeah. And it's funny. That's what I was going for too. This thing of ours. Yeah.
Are you a big movie fan? Mob movie aficionado?
I mean, I love mob movies. I wouldn't say I am as
because of the name. I'm thinking
lines of films when it comes to mob movies.
Yeah.
My spectrum is pretty far when it comes to movies.
No, because of the name, I assumed you're a big aficionado of mob movies and stuff like that.
No,
yeah. Go ahead, Rhea.
Oh, yeah, I was just, gonna say that, Kosa, your knowledge on like horror movies is like it's such a breath of fresh air. Because I feel like that's like a section of movie talk that just gets neglected. At least like, you know, in our little, you know, I don't want like little like slice of the internet. So I'm really like hoping that we get to hear more of like that talk with you and like, you know, kind of like expand, you know, our horizons, get your recommendations, movie reviews, all that stuff.
Well, it's funny that you say that because when I was on the Four Nerds show this past week, and this topic came up as far as, you know, those guys Ryan and Phil and Dawson were talking about anime, how they're really into that. They're trying to find new content, and I'm like, guys, I have seen 0 minutes, 0 seconds of any anime. It's just not something I've ever been drawn to. But like from a movie perspective, I have a wide spectrum. I mean, I'll go from like what we talk about in shows like this, like Man of Steel, you know, comic book type stuff, and then go right to horror, like gore. I mean, it's a very wide spectrum, and I know for some people that's like, really, how do you go from one to the other? I love horror movies, and I think.
Well, I mean, I can obviously relate anything to the Raid. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I think, to your point, right? I think it's definitely a genre that's not spoken about that much. But I mean, lately, a lot of great horror movies have been coming out. So
Nerd, for you, what's your favorite type of within the horror movie genre? Are you a slasher, like, or a Texas Chainsaw Massacre type?
I'll watch anything horror. If it's in the genre horror, thriller, psychological, I'll watch it. Whether it's Texas Chainsaw, Michael Myers
right behind you there.
Yeah, I brought him with me. Yeah, he's here. I mean, Freddy Krueger, Jason. I'll watch anything horror as long as it's not like these spoof movies. I know.
Brad,
someone on the panel just loves watching.
Hey,
like,
Ruthie,
do you have
real quick, Ruth, to answer your question, I am going to upload the videos. The videos have copyrighted sound, so I have to add different sounds to them. But as soon as I get out of here, I'm going to upload all the videos from all the stuff we did today.
Ooh, Fourth has a great question. Who wants to pop it up? Yes.
I can't wait. I'm glad they're doing I'm glad they're doing a third one. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm kind of
sick shit.
Well, go ahead.
That's some sick shit, man.
Go ahead.
What's your hatred for Terrifier, William, in that series, please?
There's one particular scene in there that I just think goes way too far, man.
Well, I'm looking at it as like kind of like a combination of like anticipation and dread, because it's like it is because I do very much get the appeal of the Terrifier movies because they pull no punches. Art the Clown is
none.
He's
none.
Wait, is that movie the one with the human centipede?
No,
human centipede. Nasty.
No, it's just gross. But so I get the appeal.
Feed
of
her.
the Clown.
Feed her.
Which is harder? Which is harder to
Who's
watch,
worse, Art the Clown
Terrifier or a Human Centipede? Like in y'all's
Dieter was more demented. The Clown is more violent, but Dieter, like I said, when there's a certain point, they were making T-shirts of him, of Dieter, and they said "feed her," and if you watch the movie, you know exactly what he's referring to.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first did those two movies, I realized why I was the only one in the state that was going to show those movies. We packed the shit out of that store, man. We were like, fucking, we had people waiting out. We had people waiting out in the lobby, and we roll one out and roll in. And they were sick, man. They loved that fucking movie.
And William, remember the question I asked you and Brad? What movie was the movie that you guys were surprised got past the rating system, the rating bureau here in America? I think Terrifier was one of them that you guys said.
It
Terrifier,
theaters,
like I said, it has a couple scenes in there that I think are over the top and just kind of disturbing. Human Centipede didn't even get a release here in America. It didn't get a theatrical release. Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, IFC Films. We went to IFC Films and said nobody's showing it, and they said nobody wants to play it in there. So we'll do it. At the time, I was a little bit more depraved than I am now. But we showed both Human Centipede 1 and 2, and like I said, not only was I depraved, I guess lots of people were, because like I said, we showed that movie. We marathoned the shit out of that movie.
I haven't seen the third one. I haven't seen the third one.
I haven't seen any of them.
Well, I think
Yeah,
I think with horror,
It's gonna
films,
fuck your
though,
life up. It's gonna fuck your life up. Don't go see it.
I think on the aspect with horror films, though, it's experiencing the thrill without the consequences.
Yeah, but I
That's
can't even.
really what it
Good
is.
I know.
point.
I remember I didn't sell refreshments for those movies. People
Yeah.
just didn't want to.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
You know.
Yeah, there's
so-
No, I need my big pretzel. Like I need a that large
You're not gonna
drink.
need
You
what
know,
you
maybe
was
a
gonna
bag
do.
of candy.
chocolate anything. No chocolate
me-
anything for some reason. I don't know why.
To me, there's only really one horror movie ever made, and it's not a scare flick. And I've always already talked to William excessively. Is the original Alien? That movie is just it's scary.
I love
It's
that
not
movie
a
so
jump scare.
much.
Yeah, see, I don't categorize that as a horror. I categorize that as more of a sci-fi with some jump scares in it. I don't.
It doesn't have any jump scares.
Do you consider it maybe like a
think there's a couple.
thriller, like a thriller, psychological thriller, or something like that?
I think I think it's psychological because it's not trusting your surroundings.
Yeah,
and not
The atmosphere, the tension. It's just chef's kiss. You know.
Because I've heard
And there's lots of
described-
blood in it.
Yeah, well, I've heard it described the original Alien as being like almost akin to a haunted house in space, and because they've done the re-release of it right now, and I would saw the re-release on Sunday, and it kind of occurred to me with that it's like because you compare it to like the Alien movies now, it's like it's not. I mean, the original doesn't move at a mile a minute. Obviously, it's the slowest of slow burns, but once that cauldron finally bubbles over, it's like it's a real it takes off.
Where would you guys?
Let's go for
What genre would it be? Would this movie be considered a mixture of genres? Encounter of the Third Kind, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Would that
That's
be
the
mainly
sci-fi.
sci-fi, or would that be like horror,
That's sci-fi.
sci-fi, and thriller?
Sci-fi. There's nothing
Sci-fi.
horror about that. More like more musical than it would.
Oh,
be horror.
a disaster movie. Would you kind of argue that it's a kind of a disaster movie too?
Nah.
Nah. Okay.
Nah, because there's no yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Disaster movie. Which movie? Blue Blood and Honey.
Fourth.
Or Signs.
Blood and Honey.
Favorite?
Fire Cast.
Ooh, that's a crispy picture right there. What are your
Are you
thoughts on the Pooniverse, Kosa?
The Pooniverse, yeah.
Oh, that sounds weird.
No, Fourth coined it.
Yeah, I really don't have one, to be honest.
Do you consider it like a spoof, like so it's not your jam?
Hey, be careful! Be careful what you say here next, nerd Cosinosa. You're flirting with extinction here. Just letting to let you know. Say the wrong thing about poo. Don't do it.
I'm gonna give you an awkward pause, and we'll just move on.
I can't wait to see Bambi come out.
I'll say that.
I want to be able to have a return to the show,
movie?
not be my first and final show.
Okay,
The first Pooh movie was
Third
actually a
around
lot
it?
better than what it should have been.
Oh, now you're underran.
Hey, Rhea, are you excited for Bambi: The Reckoning?
I need to, dip my toe into the Pooniverse, like
That just sounded so gross.
Yeah, after like talking about Human Centipede, right? So I wouldn't have known like this was a thing unless like William was gassing it up like every week. So yeah, I am curious. Is it on? What is the streaming app that has all horror movies?
Shudder.
Shudder.
Yes.
Shudder.
Yeah, is it going to be on Shudder? Like, where can I watch this on streaming, William?
I mean, Shudder.
Well, that's definitely that could be the alternate title of Human Centipede.
I know it's coming out on physical media because I'm getting them. I'm going to bring them in the store.
So Willem, are you excited to see that Bambi movie, The Reckoning?
Oh yeah,
that horror movie based on Bambi.
Yeah, I'm all in. I told these guys I'm in. Everything you guys are doing, I'm on board with.
Have
you guys seen
the sequel? I actually want to see is Violent Night 2.
Oh yeah,
I know we're getting a Thanksgiving too. I haven't heard about.
Oh yeah, you said Thanksgiving was pretty good, huh, William?
Oh, dude, listen, and like I said, I am not condoning. I'm not condoning people
cannibalism
ovens. I am not condoning that. Don't fucking mix this up. Don't cut this. Don't do it. My policy against violence against anybody, it's cinematic. but the scene where he gets folded up like a turkey and put in the oven is just.
I was with
Oh
William
yeah,
when he saw
that's like
that.
one of my worst nightmares because it's such a slow, painful death.
So
It
William
was-
has seen it. Who
remember
else has
William,
seen
like-
Thanksgiving on here? Who else has seen Thanksgiving?
I have. And I remember.
I haven't yet.
The
I
worst kill I remember that movie was
one at a time. One at a time.
Which one?
Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving.
Okay, yeah, I saw it.
I was with William when we saw that Thanksgiving movie.
Well, I was streaming with him, and like every day we got closer, he was just like more and more. He just couldn't wait.
Yeah, he was so giddy about it too.
And then when you see the scene, the trailer doesn't do it any justice. Especially if you've ever watched a turkey be made, he actually took care to prepare her like a turkey and put her in, and then he served her. He served her to the rest of the people, and it was like
it got super Hannibal-y there.
For me, the most sickening one was where he wrote. I can't remember which scene it was. He basically prepared her like one of his victims like a pig and roasted him in one of those like China boxes. Have you ever seen those?
It was a turkey. It was a turkey, not a pig. It was a turkey. It's a turkey, not a pig.
I think Eli Roth kind of peaked with Hostel 1 and 2.
I was literally about to ask Kosa what like there was like this period of torture porn, right? Like were you like into like those? It was like Saw, Hostel, like I forget what other ones were too, but that's literally what it's called. That's the genre.
So I did like the Saw for a while until it got to a point where it's like enough's enough. We don't really need any more of these. Hostel. The one thing I took away from Hostel, which is what I also took away from Wrong Turn. So with Hostel was I'll never stay at a hostel, and with Wrong Turn I'll never go camping. So I got some learning.
I did that one in San Diego, and I thought of the movie. I'm like,
See, I was always hostile over Saw movies because I always thought Hostel could actually happen. Saw movies were so over the top; they might as well be fantasy.
Saw one could happen.
I will say that Barbarian made me kind of sus about Airbnbs a little bit, but I still YOLO it every time I go and like visit places.
Listen, when I was like 13, I saw Psycho on AMC for the first time. It's like I had to.
Which version, the Anne remake or the original?
The original. And every time I had to work up so much courage to take a shower for like a month after that.
Someone's mic is bumping. Fourth or Anthony, I think.
It's Anthony.
Oh no, that's me breathing. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. I was just curious.
Beatboxing or what's going on there?
Stop breathing.
Now, as far as Thanksgiving goes, I feel that there was kind of a missed opportunity there. I think if the tone was just slightly darker and it was a little more gorier, I would have enjoyed it more.
A little more serious.
How much more gory?
Well, not serious. I'm not looking for like a drama or anything.
You don't want Eli to go back to like the hostel, levels of torture.
It does have a very kind of Final Destination sort of feel to it.
Yeah.
That intro where everybody gets stampeded was so corny. It lost me right there. I was like, come on.
That's what grabbed me. That let me know I was in the right movie. I'm like, oh, this
Open
is right
wounds.
here.
People with their heads bashing, still trying to grab their toast, their free toasters.
I mean, in my opinion,
Well, the movie's exaggerated. The movie is bullshit. It lets you know it's bullshit. So really, it was like, but I enjoyed it. I'm glad we're getting a Thanksgiving too. I want it to be an annual thing. I want a different person to get cooked in the oven like a turkey.
I'm going to mute you for a second, Anthony. You just okay.
I was going to kind of pivot back to what we were talking about, like with classic, thrillers, horror, psychological, intense movies. So, Kosa, what's your thoughts on?
Hold on.
Oh, come on, man! I commented that like 8.
Go ahead.
Okay, so thoughts about The Shining, Kosa. Like, is that a horror movie in your opinion?
I love
me
Shining.
Too.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
That's a horror movie. Okay,
for
sure.
Horror movie, yes,
yeah, it's a horror movie. The world's most boring horror movie.
But what kind of horror movie though? Like, what's
psychological?
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Yep.
I agree. Yeah.
How about The Village?
The what?
The Village. Oh, I did not like The Village at all.
Oh, you said The Village?
Is that the one with Mark Wahlberg? Or sorry,
that's
that's Signs. Never mind.
No, that's not
The
Signs.
Village is
him with The Happening.
The
But
Happening.
nothing happening.
Oh, Blackwater, keep on rolling. Mississippi
I
Moon, won't
knew
you
you
keep on
said that.
shining on
No,
me?
No, the Village was one of M Night what is how do you pronounce his name? Shyamalan's movies from what early 2000s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Something like that.
2005 or
You
so.
love those movies.
Yeah,
right?
04,
I need to see
something like
that.
that. It was
Where they get stuck in the Amish village and they're
Yeah.
trying to figure out what's killing.
And it was the twist everybody
People.
could see
Amish
8
Paradise
miles
is
away.
out.
And
It's
I
right
was
out.
about to
The
write
Village
down.
is not a bad movie. I think everybody just had the twist fever at that time. And if you
And
watch the
from that
trailer
guy,
for M
from
Night
that
movie,
guy, I had enough of him.
yeah. If you watch the trailer for an M Night movie, you're cynically trying to guess the ending, and then you just roll your eyes and not watch the actual
And
story.
see, and that's why Knock at the Cabin was so good, because you didn't have that. He wasn't trying to fuck with your mind. He was just trying to tell a good story
Oh.
from beginning to end.
He was a
He
little.
He can have that. It's the audience's fault for just trying to just guess endings to his movies and not taking the
Because
ride.
he doesn't give you the endings. He gets paid
He
millions
did
of
give you
dollars to give you endings, and you got to sit there after the fucking movie is over to figure out what the guy who got paid to give you the ending is giving you. Fuck
Wait,
that
so
guy.
do you think that he doesn't stick the landing?
What's that?
Do you feel like he doesn't stick the landing?
Most of the time, no, he doesn't.
Oh,
And I know there's another director I have a problem with, and I hope he gets better, and that's Jordan Peele, because I like his movies until the plane is reaching the runway, and I'm like, oh fuck, the landing gear's not even down. We're about to crash.
What was the M Night
George Clooney?
Shyamalan movie recently? I thought there was a movie that caused
Knock
a
at the
lot of
Cabin.
controversy.
That was
I thought
old.
he. No,
He did
not
old.
old. It was one of his first horror movies that he did that people got pissed off because he didn't clarify
Get
what
Out?
the ending.
No.
Not
that's
Get Out.
Jordan.
It was M Night Shyamalan.
Oh,
he had a,
oh.
Well, I know he was big for like The Sixth Sense, but then he sort of tried to emulate that constantly because it was such a success.
Probably Lady in the Water was the only thing I heard people actually complain
might
about.
have been-
yeah, no,
Sign was
it
a
was
good
Sixth
movie.
Sense. It was Sixth Sense. It was,
No,
it was Sixth Sense.
No, I think it was The Happening. I think it was The Happening, like I said, because The Happening, of course, it had the trees like giving off the emitting the
That was so
the
stupid.
pheromones to like make people like kill themselves.
The nothing happening.
I think
Oh,
that Jordan
Blackwater,
Peele.
keep on rolling, Mississippi Moon. Won't you keep on shining on me?
Now you're gonna get
Come
us.
on.
Can we say Jordan Peele's overrated though?
What's up?
A little bit. I was gonna get
Hey,
into
Jordan
like my
Peele is
thoughts around him.
overrated.
I think that what was I gonna say?
I'm
It
not
was,
ready to say that yet. He just needs to get better with the endings of his movies.
Agreed.
Well, Knock at the Cabin did have a sort of M. Night Shyamalan
Yeah.
twist. What were the people there telling the truth, or were they not telling the truth? You know. was all this
No! Once
happenstance?
he started talking, I believed everything that they said. The people who were doing all that, I found credible from the beginning. There was no these people were on a mission, and because everything made sense. It's now from the point of the people who they were kidnapping. They had the doubt, but even then, once they started turning on the news and all that shit actually started happening, they're like, "Oh, fuck." Yeah.
My favorite horror movie of all time is the original Alfred Hitchcock Strangers on a Train. The original one, not the remake, the original. Or his original Birds.
I love that one.
The Birds is very good. Yeah, I think for me, it's kind of a toss up for me, like between Psycho and The Shining. Those are probably because those are the ones that probably scared the hell out of me the most when I first saw them. So yeah,
Like
probably that.
we actually recently watched Friday the 13th, the original, recently.
Oh, I'm not afraid of the 13th guy. Those are nothing for me.
See,
Yeah,
I
no,
watched The Ring when I was little, and I got scared. Like I got scared, but rewatching it again, no, it was Carrie. I watched Carrie as like a in middle school and stuff like that, and then I rewatch it as a teenager. I'm like, oh my god, this movie's stupid and scary. It's not scary; it's very stupid.
Speaking
I
of,
don't know
like,
why I found it scary when I was like 10 or 11, but when I watched it again in high school, it was stupid.
Because Stephen King can't give an ending.
well, it's people interpreting his work, right? And sometimes he's happy with it, sometimes he's not. Like, and people take creative liberties.
I loved how It Chapter 2 actually had him in the cameo. He makes comments on that with the book from Bill says, "Oh, I didn't like the ending."
Oh, It Chapter 2 ruined Andy Machete for me. I'm sorry.
I thought it was The Flash.
Hey, Jordan.
I think my favorite I think my favorite movie based off of a Stephen King novel is Misery. Like, yeah, that I love that movie so much.
Well, he
Yeah.
wrote that one based on his experience with his fans, and he was writing it about like
Makes
how
sense.
annoyed he was at his fans because they were like developing parasocial like relationships and wanted him to write more, but he didn't really want to write more of certain books. And you can very see that if you watch the movie or read the book, you can see his sort of frustrations coming out with his fans through the main character.
Yeah,
Like,
it
it's
felt
the
like
embodiment of his fans.
it definitely felt like the most like true and more like experience based writing at being conveyed in a film for sure. I am curious though, like where the gosh, I forget her name. Her character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kathy
Yeah,
Bates?
like
Bates?
Kathy
Sally
Bates. Yeah.
Fields' character.
No,
Kathy
Kathy Bates.
Bates.
I'm wondering, like, if like what kind of experiences, like, informed him of that, or like kind of inspired that, I should say. So I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
I
we
just
hope
How
thought.
about the
hoped he
movie with
wasn't like
Jack Nicholas in the hotel?
that's
Oh,
The Shining.
The Shining.
Was that The Shining?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Doctor Sleep is a really good Stephen King movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's
And
the
it's
continuation from The Shining, and
it's a
that's really
sequel of The Shining.
well, that's really interesting, that one, because Stephen King famously, because he famously is not a fan of the movie of The Shining, because
Yeah.
the way he wrote the book, he was going through his he was alcohol and his drug addiction at the time, so it's very autobiographical, The Shining. So, and he if you read the book, it's much more of a kind of a redemption story, and it kind of felt like Kubrick sort of took all that, stripped all that out, which, I mean, to be fair, he did in The Shining. So then he wrote the Doctor Sleep novel, which was continuation from his novel, and then the Doctor Sleep movie. It kind of took a middle ground where it's like it's adapting the book, but it's also acting as a sequel to the Kubrick Shining movie, and it's really a interesting thing that it did. It was actually I was very impressed with it. It did that Neil very well. I did really like Doctor Sleep myself a lot.
I haven't watched like the whole movie, but because it has Ewan McGregor in it, like, I definitely, have it on my priority list. It's just I keep forgetting because it's like, it was like a few years ago, and then like more and more movies come out and stuff. So yeah, I did want to
Doctor
ask
Sleep was pretty good, except for that.
For what?
The ending of Doctor Sleep. I don't think it had to go down that way. There was nothing about Rose the Hat that was so.
There was a horror movie that Jim Carrey did where he was stuck in a loop where he was stuck in a hotel room, like I think it was room 80, like 1200 or something. I can't remember what the name of the movie
Number
was.
23. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah. That's I think that's where he's referring to. That was actually pretty good. But Ray, you had a point.
Oh yeah, I wanted to go around and ask people's favorite Stephen King adapted, either like TV, long form or short series or film.
Okay.
I wanted to ask Kosa first, like if you.
Okay, go ahead, Kosa.
Ooh, maybe I should go last. That's a tough one.
Fair, yeah. There's a lot.
yeah, there's quite a few.
I'm gonna list my. This isn't my favorite because it can't possibly be anybody's favorite, but this is the first Stephen King anything I saw was The Langoliers in '95, and
I saw that on Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, it still has a very special place in my heart. It's not bad. It's just horribly dated, because the CGI is god awful in it. But it did.
Oh my god, we were watching
Van
Helsing this morning, and oh my god.
Yeah,
That's
I
can forgive bad CGI as long as the story is good. CGI is just pretty light.
Which is
So
in Langoliers, but
I think it'd be a three-way tie for me. Either Carrie, the Shining, or Cujo. Would be a three-way tie for me.
Oh, Pet Cemetery was him too, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or nah? Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, those I'd have to go with one of those three. It'd be hard for me to if I was forced to choose just one of those, I'd probably go with The Shining.
I probably also list It, both the miniseries and the two movies. Those are very high for me too. I think
Cujo.
It generally is a pretty good track record for me. Is It with Pennywise?
Yeah.
Cujo for me, because I grew up around dogs, and that movie scared the crap out of me. Growing up around dogs, because I thought that's how dogs actually went psycho after they got rabies and stuff like that and started attacking people.
They do.
They do. That's the problem.
Oh, by the way, guys,
Not all the time. I thought that was just a rare cases.
Okay, y'all literally just reminded me. Stephen King also, I guess, written and directed Maximum Overdrive. I guess that's a car that comes to life. I heard of it. It's such a like deep memory. I had to Google it.
Yeah.
Well, Stephen King is kind of he doesn't remember making most of it because he was coked out at the time, and he'd be the first one to tell you that.
And it shows.
Check out the trailer for it.
What is that 80s TV show with
Hasselhoff?
Hasselhoff, like it was basically
Knight Rider.
his but like a horror movie. Like I can imagine it being that.
Yeah,
well, there's a horror movie about a.
Well, there's Christine. There's the horror movie Christine.
Yeah, that's pretty, yeah.
I would have to say The Stand.
Let me see if I can bring that with the guys. We have another guest. I'm going to try to bring in real quick because, I think we can because I'm not sure we're maxed out yet. But he's a very special guest. Very special guest. He's getting a lot of attention. yeah. Fire. I said that.
Dude, at this point, I'm rooting for this live action film with Gosling and the other dude. Those skits kill me.
That skit was so hilarious.
It was hilarious, and I would be honest with you, I'm not the biggest Beavis and Butthead fan. Like they're okay. I've enjoyed them on and off over the years. That I was like, I'll watch that. I will watch that.
Heidi Gardner would have to be in it though because she's what made the skit funny. Her breaking character.
She turns around, she can't even.
Yeah.
Straight there.
Well, they pulled a Bill Hader on her and surprised her, I think, and she hadn't seen the makeup for them, and so she turned around and was like, "Oh, what the hell?"
Well, Butthead, much more so. She turns around, like sees that lip and his gun, and she can't even keep it together.
He did a great job.
The best thing about it is the two guys weren't Beavis and Butthead.
Right? Yeah, that was true. Yeah, they were like, I've never heard of them. I've never seen the show. I don't know what you're talking about.
We got to clap it up for Dork Night coming on the show. What? Welcome.
What's up?
What up? How's it going, guys?
It's a star-studded panel right now. With special guests.
With no stars.
Wow.
Oh, good lord!
No, what am I, chopped liver?
Yeah.
Well, you're a regular. You're on like the cast. You're on the
Brad. Brad is the 20-year-old Brad is the 20-year-old co-host correspondent.
And we're all his less dumb friends.
Well, yeah, because if anything, I'm a survivor because I made it through Scary Movie 5 and Meet the Spartans alive.
You're a survivor because of what I saw on your Twitter today or yesterday. You took how many roundhouse kicks to the head?
Oh yeah. Well, it's nothing I haven't. I mentioned like sparring last night. I took
from children.
No, these are people again.
No, these were people my age. These are people my age. People my
the parents of the children.
Still children.
No. It was people. It was spar full contact with, and it's like I actually took one to my thigh pretty well too. So, which if you've never had like a kick or an elbow to the thigh.
I'm just curious. So have you ever been knocked out? And what's it like to be knocked out? I've never been. I've seen these guys get knocked out. What is that like? Do you wake up just completely like? Do you have any? What the hell happens when you get knocked
out in sparring? I've never been knocked out. I
Give
did
the
get
juice
knocked
box
out.
back.
I did get knocked out one time. This wasn't sparring, but it was the first time riding a go-kart when I was about 10. And I crashed, and I got knocked out for like about 10 seconds after that. So that
usually, if you get knocked out, you need to go to the hospital.
I actually was knocked out, and
really?
I could tell you yes. But it wasn't like a fight. I was at a concert, and I was we were. I was by the pit, but I wasn't in the pit this time, and I typically go to like hardcore shows where people are just nuts at those pits. And so I was just standing on the edge, and someone like swung back, got my chin. I was out. All I remembered was like people pushing me up, not remembering where I was. It's almost like I don't know if any of you guys have ever been like what's it like when you have surgery and you wake up from like all that
anesthetic.
Yeah, anesthetic. So like when it's imagine like waking up like that fog and you're just kind of like trying to like recollect everything that you like.
Right.
Where am I? It's a trip. It's a surreal
coming back to
experience.
me, yeah.
And I
Yeah,
think
that's-
everyone should be knocked out at least once in their life.
Oof.
I
Well,
just
like,
I've been
isn't
knocked
there-
out playing baseball.
Gray is
Is
sitting over there with her adorable little cat. He's like, "Hey, what the hell did
Go
I
ahead,
do?"
Ray.
Oh,
Does
I was just
passing
gonna
out
ask,
count?
isn't there like a period of time where if you're unconscious, it's actually super dangerous? Like, it could be fatal, or am I just like off? I don't know. Like,
All right.
do you?
What are you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna ask, like, isn't there like a period when you're unconscious where like you do need to seek medical help, or else it'll be fatal? Or
Oh yes. Like honestly, I probably should have, but like I was in my like mid 20s at this point, and I didn't care. So like I just kind of like wrote it off, and I just like hung out with my friends and like stayed up like pretty much
When
all
you're in
night,
your mid
and it
20s,
was
you're
fine.
invincible. What do you expect?
This is true.
Well, going back to Austin's point there about because I've never been not the closest I've ever, and yeah, like last night I took several roundhouse kicks to the head, but it's like I'm pretty used to
How do you
hits to the
not
head.
get knocked out from?
It's, I mean, if you're it's well, I did have headgear on, so but even
Do
then,
they
you
say
still,
boot to the head before they kick you?
no, but you still feel it very much. But the closest probably to me that was when I was 18, and I was competing the first time competing in a tournament, and I was so excited going into it. And then I get out on the mat, and there were only like 3 or 4 other guys in my weight class, and this is a Taekwondo tournament. And I get out there, and I was so ready. And then as soon as I get out there, I just completely lost my nerve. And my opponent, we're dodging and weaving. We're getting ready. You're
doing some Rocky in there.
Yeah, and then he
going
strolls
back
up and
forth?
just roundhouse kicks me right here. And I mean, it was basically a TKO because I was still conscious, but he slammed me good. And the judges, they could tell it's like, yeah, he's a little bit too psyched after this, and I had blood running down my chin. I mean, it was really like if you never trained.
So,
I mean,
final
you don't
question for you, Brad, on that.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Why?
What? Why did I compete, or why did?
Why? What do you get out of taking the kicks to the head and all that type of stuff? Like what like is it just
Brad doesn't want to die without any scars.
What do I get? Well, it's like, I mean, it's
well,
part of
yeah.
sparring.
Like, why is it just the love of it and all that, or is it just like?
Yeah, it's part of it's when you're sparring. I mean, it's just how you get better. Is you can't and I've been from how long I've been training. It's like you can't, in my opinion, if you're serious about learning how to fight, it's like you can't. You have to learn to spar. I mean, there's no way around that. So, I mean, it's and I mean, there's different levels to it. I mean, there's different when you're people. It's like I know enough or you train long enough, like when we're going like semi-contact or when we're going full contact or when we're doing this or that. So it's like you're not always going out there with the intent of like we're going to just slam each other. And in fact, you're not usually doing that. But that time again, that was a tournament, and it was that guy's intent definitely was it's like this guy's on my way to taking home the gold. So it was, and what I got from that was the lesson of if I'm going to compete, I need to go. I need. There's the mental component of it. It's like when you go out on the mat, you're ready to fight. You need to be in the, you need to not let the fear of getting hit overtake you, because all that's going to happen is what happened to me. It's like you're going to get slammed, you're going to get chicken out and end up off the mat. So
it's like flight or fight. What is it? Flight or
fight?
Fight
Or flight.
Yeah.
There's actually a third response that they found. I can't remember what they call it, but there's fight, flight, and then I think freeze is actually the third one.
That's what I
So
do.
those are
I
three
just
responses
freeze.
people have.
I just freeze.
Well, I mean, I was getting bullied a lot when I got tired of freezing, so I wanted to learn how to handle
See,
that.
me too. I just became funny. That was my solution to it. It was
So just 2 years ago in grade school?
Basically.
Apparently,
I was
most
like a
of Brad's
total
boys'
bookworm
vision
who
is
like
based on
hung out
movement.
inside like
Youthful
constantly.
Yeah, I got bullied a lot, and so I just became funny, and it was like once I could either make fun of the bully or make him laugh before he could bully me, it worked out. So
Yeah, well, I mean, there's also you talk about what you as far as like what you get. I mean, it's like it's there's the I mean, it's a little bit more esoteric when I talk about this, but it's, I mean, there's you get a lot of sense of self worth out of pursuing that kind of growth, which is something I found in my training for as long as I have, is that because you're competing at some point, you're not competing against other people, you're competing against yourself. Competing against being better than you were the day before. And that's really the way I look at it much more now, is that I'm not competing whenever when I'm sparring with somebody else. It's like we're learning from each other. We're learning, I'm learning what I'm good at. I'm learning what I suck at, and the same for him. So it's and sometimes that does involve taking a few to the head. And it's again, I've done that enough now where it's like it's okay. I can manage it. I just hope I didn't bring my damage along the way.
His brain is
So Rhea,
Oh yeah.
I totally
so
still
Rhea,
Simpson
my
joke there, by
answer
the
is Stand By Me.
Your
Wait,
favorite horror movie of all?
yeah. Circling back to that.
Oh yeah, because we got sidetracked on me getting kicked in the head. Sorry about that.
That's so interesting. Why is that your favorite?
It's the only Stephen King movie that I actually had the most emotional resonance with. That movie did something to me after I finished watching it, and I watched it probably about a year ago for the first time, and I was like, man, this is actually better than It. And I know It is just Stand By Me with the clown in it, and I really like It a lot, the Andy Muschietti first movie, but I don't know, I come back to Stand By Me.
Are you into those coming of age types of movies?
I'm not no, I couldn't even name probably another one that I would like, probably one that I've watched, but not off the top of my head, but something about that movie, I was like, wow.
Nice.
It touched him.
I saw the Family Guy parody, so
I remember watching. I didn't realize.
I see Venom hanging around in the background there, so.
Oh yeah, this is Droga is Venom. I mean, he's not Venom. I mean, I don't know. He might be Venom.
What?
He totally hasn't given off signals that he is. So.
I'll tell you what, anything is better than those movies. So, all you Droga.
Those Venom movies are peak, and I'm excited for the third one.
No.
No,
I think
called Venom Save the Last Dance.
Yeah.
It should have been called Venom with a 3 in it.
I give those movies passes just because Venom is such a kick-ass character, and like
He's a
just
good
you're gonna annoy William there.
I know he hates Deadpool, he hates Venom, like two of the most popular like Marvel characters in the last like 30 years or like almost like 35 years.
Almost ever.
Venom, but now Venom they have done a lot with over the years, especially recently to make him, especially in the comics, to make him great and interesting and much more fun and stuff. So Venom has grown a lot over the years.
He's grown more than Peter Parker, to be honest, in the main continuity.
Probably a bit. I have lost track on what.
Because Venom now has a son, and yeah.
Jeez.
Kosa, what are your thoughts on the new Venom 3 and I guess Deadpool 2? I guess that's two questions, but yeah, I don't think I got to hear your specific thoughts on those.
Yeah, it throws me out sometimes, Brad. So if it just
I'm
sorry.
I can do without the Venom movies. I'm a Tom Hardy fan, but I can do without the Venom movies.
Amen.
Don't even. I'm not. And I'm.
Take me to
do without the entire character.
Just don't even care. I watched them once. It was like, yeah, not for me. Threw it in the bin.
I really wanted the sequel to be great because Andy Serkis was directing it.
I like Venom from a comic book perspective, but as far as on film, I just haven't been. That's just me.
So, nerd, which is better, Topher Grace or Tom Hardy?
Well, I'm a Tom Hardy fan, so
well, you know who would have been a great Eddie Brock? Alan Ritchson. I'm gonna that.
I can see that actually. Now to think about it,
he would have been perfect.
But I think the answer, I think was Ruth's question, then Rhea's question, then Brad's favorite horror movie. It's kind of I don't know. I kind of consider them as one because it happens it's a continuation, which is Halloween and Halloween 2. Even though they are 3 years apart from production, it still happens in the same night. Part 2 picks up from where part 1 leaves off. So I kind of view that as one.
I love Halloween 1 for sure, and I kind of give passes to the sequels after 2 and 3. 3 it grew on me a little bit because it was a.
You talking about the new one?
Well, No, I'm talking
the-
about like
no,
the
I'm talking
original
about the
films
original.
in the
original
80s.
four.
But I love, I love
78, 1981.
Halloween 3
I-
was Season of the Witch, right?
Right, that
Yeah.
that was
Yeah,
when
it
they
was
were
the
trying to
one
become an
without Michael
anthology,
Myers.
I think, and then
Yes.
they went back to Michael Myers,
Yeah.
and they became campy, and then Paul Rudd, came into play, like I think in 5 or 6.
And
So
part 6, but if you haven't seen the producer's cut of part 6, I'd recommend watching the producer's cut because to me it is a different story, or it does add to the story.
Yeah, I've heard about that there was like that was like again that was an alternate cut fan campaign of its time that
I've
it was
never heard of that.
like
Where can we find that, Nerd Coaster?
What's on? Well, you can buy it on Blu-ray.
It's
on-
okay.
Yeah, they were.
Well,
So it was
I didn't
for the
know if it
longest
was one of
time. The
those
only way you could get it
special
was
cuts,
it was a
online.
bootleg version. And when they brought the whole Halloween set on Blu-ray, they finally released the producer's cut. But I can see William just.
They needed to stop that run after 4.
I don't disagree.
after 4,
I don't
that's-
You know what? I think 2018 is to this day probably one of the better.
I agree. Yeah, I loved
Yeah.
it. I loved it.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was followed up by a heaping pile of shit.
Yeah, that's
2
true.
times
Evil
over.
Dies Tonight.
Oh my god!
I saw that.
I thought all those movies were trash
Everybody
compared to the Rob Zombie ones.
I saw that.
The Rob Zombie one was garbage.
Wait,
Rob
those
Zombie
I can
number
do
2.
without.
Yeah.
The Rob Zombie ones I watched.
Rob Zombie needs to stick to his own IPs. When his adaptation, his Halloween.
Rob Zombie's versions are more entertaining than those 2018 trilogy or whatever that was. Those things are so boring.
You're basically telling me your brain chemistry is fucked up.
Okay, I need to hear Dork Knight's take on the Halloween series.
Okay, so here's my take. Okay, is that one, fantastic, we all agree. 2, it's a bit of a letdown.
1981 too? You mean 19?
Yes, the original, like the one with Jamie Lee.
All the killing in the hospital, man. Come on.
I was like, you can tell that like he really wasn't wanting to do it. He just did it because they threw money at him. Let's be honest. So like, I agree. Those 2 are pretty much like apex top. Then I feel like everything after that has been mediocre to like dog shit, if I'm being honest. And I think
4 was great. 4 was great. Especially
was it though?
Loomis
Was it
made
really?
Yeah, because Donald Pleasance made it great. They
Yep.
didn't have a lot to hold on to because there's not a lot holding on to any of these movies. If you look at the original, the 1, 2, and 4, it's Sam Loomis driving the evil in that character. He's evil on 2 legs. He's what holds those movies together. And then when 5 came around, I'm like, okay, now we're going back to the same well again. 6 was like unwatchable, and then everything after that, H2O, all that nonsense. Now, when they went back to Halloween H2O, or not H2O, but they 218, that was great. And when I went into that Halloween Kills, I was expecting that level. And I'm like, what the fuck happened here? Because that one and the third one was one of the worst horror movies I've ever seen.
No.
I think you're wrong on that one, William. I thought Halloween Ends was probably the more superior one.
Dork
Okay,
Knight, what were you
so
saying?
you're gonna troll me on live air instead of in the chat today? All right, that's cool.
I'll be honest.
I promise you, Halloween Ends is a good story.
You're not
It's just
saying
it's not applied to a Michael Myers situation.
Well, hold on.
So
I
Austin-
think both.
Austin has something?
I think Halloween Ends and Halloween 3, they both introduced some really new and interesting concepts to the franchise. I think it's the execution that it's not that great. But I'll be honest, those are ideas I wouldn't mind being revisited because I think they're good enough, if done well enough, to be something in that franchise, especially 3. I agree 100% with you, Ray. I think Season of the Witch has a lot going for it.
Okay, you got to realize back in the early 80s, you can't do shit like that because you're telling me Halloween 3, and then you give me some mask and shit with worms and coming out of your ear. I'm like, that was what pissed people off about that movie. They basically used the Halloween name to put it out.
That's why I don't even consider it part of the franchise.
I just saw you shaking your head, and I was just like, "Oh man, he has
Yeah,
a
I
take
do.
coming up."
I saw him going like,
I can agree with that.
I agree.
Halloween,
4, 5, 6, H2, all those were campy. They weren't great, but for me, it's just the fact of more Michael Myers. Rob Zombie's movies were trash. I'm not a Rob Zombie Those were
I
just
hate
those were
those.
just horrible.
The
I
first one
actually
has
tried
moments.
watching the first one of his today. I got maybe 10 minutes in. I was like, I just can't do this.
Wow, you're more of a man than I am because I
just
can't do
can't.
4.
I think
Well,
with the
it's-
Rob
I'll be-
Zombie movies, they're just so mean spirited, you know? Like
Yes.
it's yes.
Yeah, they
That's
are.
what I
it
love
moves-
about
yeah,
them.
Yes.
Oh,
Well,
Dark
you
Knight,
know,
you're a
I'll be
fan?
But they're
honest,
Halloween
yes.
movies by way of Rob Zombie, though.
It's kind
What-
of how I feel a little bit about the last few Evil Dead movies. I like the last few Evil Dead movies a lot, but that whole turn to being fully dark and like fully violent and fully like all this from a franchise that was not that, you know, and so I completely understand that. What's up, baby?
Everybody go say bye
To add on
Barry.
to your Evil Dead thing,
Yeah.
I think Evil Dead misses a lot of like the important kind of beats of like the remakes miss a lot of the important beats that the originals had. Was that it wasn't just a bunch of tag you're it zombie, like you're a demon, now you're a demon, now you're a demon. They missed out on a lot of like the psychological effects the demons played on the characters by haunting things, making
and the
things
kind
like
of
move
funness
around and
that they
make
did
the
with
character
the
go
main
crazy.
character. Exactly, with Bruce, he took advantage of all those psychological, and he had fun with it. You're like, and it. Just, I'm not
Two
saying
is
they're
goat.
bad movies. I like the Evil Dead remakes. They're good. They
Yeah.
are good movies. For me, it is just it's adjusting to like, okay, it's a, it's going in a different direction. But yeah, so I kind of understand that in the sense of like, yeah, they're moving away and then doing something different. But
Oh,
I was
really
wondering,
quick.
do they have a direction? Because as entertaining as those past two movies are, and I'm with you, I'm on board with you. They're still entertaining movies.
Yeah.
But can they really do another version of Demons Breakout again in this new location?
well, see,
Demons
my
on a
opinion,
boat.
my
you know.
opinion is at this
so
point,
funny.
like you've done your two separate ones. Now go back, right? Bring Bruce back into it. Let's see all the girls and stuff. There's still a lot from apparently Ash versus Evil Dead, that he can come. So that's that. I'm starting to say, yeah, start to wrap that up and connect everything and move on and figure out what you want to do with the franchise after that. But
Dare I say, they should just risk failure and try to do a serious Army of Darkness.
That's easy to say when it's not your money. That would bomb.
Yeah.
Well,
I did wanna,
scared money don't make money, William.
I did want
Yeah,
to
but
circle back before
stupid
we
money don't
change-
make money either.
Before
Well,
we
then they would have made Blade
change
Runner 2049.
topics,
What were you something?
Dark Knight, what do you think about the Rob Zombie Halloween movies?
Yeah, because you mentioned you're a fan.
Well, all right. So I already know I'm in the vast minority here.
Yep.
I've
I'm with you,
already
Doc.
accepted.
I'm with you,
I'm waving the white flag that I'm in the minority. But
Never
I
back down. I'm
honestly-
with you.
I love just how like Rob Zombie they are, for good or for bad. I love that they're
They
his
are,
vision, and I'll be honest. If you don't have his movies, 2018 is not as violent as it is, because 2018 I felt built off the extreme violence that Zombie infused into the franchise. Because if you take out and you watch 4, 5, and 6, H2O, and then Resurrection, you'll see that the violence was like, but then he comes in, he brings in his grindhouse approach to these things, and just honestly, I felt made Michael Myers fucking terrifying, which I'll be honest, 4, 5, and 6, he was not terrifying for me at all. I watched those shits as a kid, and I was just like, okay, I'll be honest, like I just like, okay, it didn't like affect me or anything. But then when I saw those, because I was at that perfect age of being 18, 19 when those came out, and it was just like, this is what I want. Give me like a full blown, like maximalist vision, for good or for bad. Like I said, I already accepted I'm in the minority, and that's okay with me.
Why
But
didn't they make a 3?
because people didn't watch it.
No,
I'll be
and
honest. Let's be honest. It was the diminishing returns.
Also, Rob Zombie did not want to.
Yeah,
Rob
he
didn't
did
even
not
wanna
have a good
make the
experience.
second
Zombie didn't
one,
want to make
and
part 2.
He didn't even want to
Wait,
make
is
part
this
2, and they
Munsters
offered.
movie any good?
No.
I love
no.
the Munsters movie. Like, oh my god, I put
Wow,
it on
what-
like on
Really?
repeat every like spooky season.
Really? What
So,
do you
so,
like
to
about it?
piggyback to
Because I love
piggyback
the
off what
original
Dork Knight
show,
was
and I
saying.
feel like it
Right,
I
I
feel like
love the
it kept the
original show.
spirit of the show.
Okay, interesting.
To piggyback off what Dark Knight was saying, I realize that I can understand like the zombie movies are not like great movies. But just like how I recognize that The Dark Knight Rises is not as good as The Dark Knight, for some reason I can watch Rises more. They're just the Rob Zombie ones are entertaining. I can turn them on in the background and there's stuff happening. But I realize they're not great movies. They just entertain a lot more.
Yeah, sometimes they have some have better rewatch
Williams just
value
rolling his eyes at
than,
that Dark
than
Knight
others
compared-
and stuff. I just want to see for me, I'll be honest, probably the worst one for me in the franchise is probably Halloween Kills, because that's where it went too far for me. It was like it became, okay, so Michael is this supervillain that takes on the entire city, unkillable, all that. Like, that's where they really started to blur the lines for me, and it was like.
All right.
I just love the angry mob. Like
That keeps coming as they all get killed. They're all dying, and they're like, "This is a really good idea. Let's keep trying. Let's keep trying to kill a dude who's not dying."
Exactly.
Okay, you go. Now you go. No,
But
you need to
but
run.
William, evil dies tonight.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Hey, by the way, I
Right.
just wanted to put out there, I saw Halloween Kills with William, and we enjoyed it for what it was in the moment.
William,
You and Brad did.
You
and
did too.
Brad.
You were enjoying the kill. Like, that's the thing. We enjoyed
Brad.
the kills and the brutality of the kills and stuff. But then walking out of it, the more we thought about it, was like, oh no.
We made it. No, we made it to the casino. We were at Red Rock. We made it from the theater. I made it from the theater to the slot machines, and I was already. This movie was bullshit.
I was with you. No, Bradley was the one that was liking it. You remember?
Yeah, Bradley liked it. I'm like, did we watch the same movie? Did this movie suck?
I was with you because I think what had happened was we all
Blame
got there
Bradley.
late. So I was sitting next to William, and Bradley had to sit by himself. So me and William were basically making fun of most of the movies.
Wow, it's getting horrible.
Yeah, we would.
Nah, they must be good if William hates them.
They are
I was
good.
surprised so
Exactly.
many.
Thank you.
I was surprised so many people hated Ends, but then I wasn't really surprised. I like Ends because it actually introduced like a pretty fascinating idea, as I think as Austin said. Not executed perfectly, but I was like, wait, this is actually about something outside of just the fan demand of just give me more Michael, give me more else. It's like, well, I'm going to try to do something for you.
And it actually is trying to push the story forward outside of the Jamie
place for that,
character and all of that type of stuff. Well, but see,
Yeah,
now,
it was
that
like-
that movie was a weird experience for me and Bradley too, because we saw that movie as a test screening. So we saw that movie in July with David Gordon Green in the audience, and it was a whole test screening. So the movie we saw was different than the movie that was released in theaters. We saw a longer cut, and we saw a few different things. But it was, I'll be honest, I liked that cut a lot better than what was released theatrically.
I just love like the closing line that Laurie has. Evil doesn't die; it changes shape. Because Michael's like referred to as the shape. So I thought that was really clever.
And in that test screening cut, it's implied that
he's still alive after being put through that industrial shredder.
No. That industrial shredder was added after the test screening cut. Bradley and I saw the test screening cut ends with hinting at Jamie becoming the shape. It literally hints at her.
Dude.
Really?
It hints at her. Yes. So it ends with that cop character coming to see her at her house and everything like that. And it ends with her she says that line, she gives a look, and she says another line that they cut out. And it's that implication that evil's basically gone into her. She's the successor in a weird way. So it's, and a lot of people did not go for that.
So what I loved about the final cut for Halloween Ends is that it showed Corey just becoming the monster. Like he wasn't, predestined. Like even after that incident with the kid dying, he was ostracized. He was villainized by everyone in the town. So like he basically became what
intentionally.
Right.
No, he didn't burst through the door wanting to push him down.
But they think that
thing.
the mob
Well,
thinks that it was malicious on his
and
part.
I'll be honest, I think David Gordon Green was trying to get a little too smart for his boots. Like I like David and stuff, but that whole, because he talked to us and in certain interviews he implied it's implied throughout the film that it's Jamie, like there's that scene where Corey wakes up in the house and Jamie's just there sitting on the chair waiting for him, and that's it. So there's a lot of things she does in that movie too that they kind of did on purpose to imply that she may be the real problem here.
Yeah.
thought that was
Honestly,
like,
you could cut Michael Myers out of that movie and make it an origin for like a new slasher character. I thought that's what was
Okay,
great.
then make another movie. Don't you?
William, you lose all credibility.
William, we need
What-
that installed audience to go see this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's why
That's
I had so
why
much
it did
fun.
so well. It did beautifully in the box.
Well, that's why I tell
And that's why we're
everybody
getting a
I
TV
had so
show.
much. Well, that's why I had so much fun when it was coming out. Like, I was joking around with friends. I post on social media all the time. Like, when the trailers came up, when I actually went to see it, the title Halloween Ends, I just kept saying, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Because it's like they're gonna find some way
I
to
think this is
after this to continue this further, even after they dump his body and just shred it to pieces. It's like, no, it doesn't.
Oh yeah,
they'll be back.
I think what happened with this last movie is exactly the whole Snyder effect. The director tried too hard, and the fans were like, "Just give me my Michael."
Nah, he just didn't make a good movie. There's really no comparison.
What's
a good
I mean, because they can do stuff with Michael. The last movie was really the execution, because like our audience had a lot of the same problems too with Corey, in that like between his acting and between some of the story beats that they leave, on his relationship with the granddaughter is really rushed and weird. Even in the test screening cut, that was probably my biggest complaint. Is it happens in like they show you their relationship in a 5-minute montage, and then you're supposed to go on the rest of the movie believing that like she really cares about him. After all,
That's if you don't walk out of the movie. I mean.
All I know is if I have a Halloween movie, I want to see Michael Myers. I don't want to see Mask.
I don't want to see some goofy experimental concept. I want to see.
You want to do a new concept? Go start a new franchise.
The biggest issue with that movie too is the way that they set themselves up and screwed themselves. Hey baby, screwed themselves from the last movie, Halloween Kills. Because it's already, when Corey meets him, he's in, Michael's all in that dark cave, all beat up and like healing or whatever the hell is going on with it. And that was that was a big reach for the franchise.
Similar to Part 4.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, okay, he's not human, obviously, anymore. He's at this point, he's some supernatural being that he's never been before. So.
Well, hold on. No, he's always been that. The dude took 6 shots to the chest and fell from the second story, got the fuck up, and walked away.
And at the end of 2, he got shot twice. Once in each eye, got blown up.
That's more believable than having the entire town come at. That's where
wait.
That's what I'm saying. They went too far. The entire town.
Hold on, Austin. You're telling me it's more believable for
I'll take 6 shots than
No.
Like ripped to shreds.
No. For Michael Myers to get shot in the face in both eyes, then blown up, and supposedly burned to death, and then we see him again in Part 4, healing right back to full 100% health, ready to go.
Dude, maybe I'll be honest.
Did he get a 1-up mushroom somewhere that we didn't see?
No, he just got the adamantium skeleton injected into him.
I'm still stuck on when Loomis shot him and hit him all 6 times, and he falls. Before Loomis can get downstairs, Michael's hopping away to the hospital to kill everybody there. So yeah.
Okay, I want to circle. I want to circle back to Dork Knight's feedback around like the 2018 and what was it, like 2022 movies, or why is it that you like the Rob Zombie movies compared to those?
Honestly, because one, I'm a Rob Zombie fan. That's I love his movies because I love that, like, especially with House of a Thousand Corpses and like Three from Hell and
Devil's Rejects. Those are
Devil's
good.
Rejects.
Those
Yeah.
are good.
Those are good, and I love that there's like a certain like 70s like grindhouse feel to them, and then he brought that in to the first half of his Halloween movie, and you actually get to see the family and like the fucked up, weird, back twisted like way that they were living. I was like, yeah, a killer would come from that, because let's be honest, like a lot of famous serial killers had like fucked up traumas, go look at Richard Ramirez and what his uncle would do with him. I was like, that shit was fucked up. And that's kind of what the environment Michael was brought in with his stepfather in that. And the original one, they made it, his family was a little bit more normal. He was, and I guess like, I get why people like that, because they're like, this kid just snaps. Like, and
yeah, sometimes people are just crazy. See, that's what the problem I have with Michael Myers going forward is they try to explain things that really shouldn't have been. Sometimes people are just fucking crazy. Sometimes they come from good homes. They have everything they need. They have the teddy bears. They have the toys. They got all the good everything, right? And sometimes they just fucking snap.
Yeah,
and that's what
sometimes
cool
they're
about
so
him.
crazy. Sometimes they're so crazy they can stab people while looking at the knife. Like,
well, and like I said, it was just when they started to explain Michael Myers is when it lost its luster. He was the boogeyman. You were not supposed to know he was evil. That's what he was. It was evil personified. And that's why Sam Loomis and his what the hell is that?
Exactly. Yeah, no, evil doesn't need to be created. It can just exist. And that was Michael.
No, and I agree with that, except for that, like you guys have said, they were explaining things, but I'll take Rob Zombie's origin story versus what they did with 4, 5, and 6, having this Thorn cult that somehow like the stars aligned. I was like, that shit was bullshit. And
I'll be honest.
Tell me that was a better origin story than what
You
Zombie
can't have
did.
the baby, Michael, and she killed him.
I'll be honest, I don't mind.
But like I said, that's why 4. That's it. 4. Bam.
And by the way, Bradley, you totally missed a perfect opportunity to come out here and dye his butthead.
It's very
Bradley,
very true. No, but I will say, I have a guilty pleasure spot for The Curse of Michael Myers. I actually think that's kind of a good film, to be honest. It's a good Halloween movie.
This open mic thing, I
enjoy
think
it.
this might be the last week we do this.
This is so fun.
enjoy it.
I mean, too many crazy opinions up in here, man. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I'll go with one more addition to the Rob Zombie thing. I agree with I like seeing the backstory, but I think the backstory execution wasn't done all that well. I still stand by the movie as entertaining, but I thought the backstory was too Rob Zombie funny, tragic, than actually being something like believably tragic that would turn a kid into Michael Myers.
Okay, but why are we applying real life stuff to this? He's a horror movie character. He's supposed to be unbelievable.
He's a horror movie character because it's a powerful brain.
Because it's so much fun, William. Get it?
But once he takes the 6 shots to the chest, do we understand that this is not a normal? This isn't like Ed Gein where we gotta what are the dots? What do the dots on the screen tell you, Ed?
I'm William.
I can't take it more.
Okay, come on back.
Yeah. All right. I think that's where we're gonna wrap.
Oh.
Hey, I've been up a while. So
hey, can I say that I thought of like while watching Friday the 13th last night.
Let Brad run it. Let's keep going. It's a party.
Like I thought of an idea to make like a Spider-Man knockoff horror movie. That's all I have to say.
So what's like Brightburn with Spider-Man, basically?
Venom.
No,
and your
no, it's better than that.
Venom.
They have really good lawyers. Just be careful.
Yeah, I know.
I definitely think Carnage was underutilized for sure.
Oh yeah, it was mostly lack of Carnage. That's what it should have been called.
Like Carnage is my favorite symbiote, and they just turned him into a fucking punchline.
He's so fucking cool.
Well, he always really. Cletus Cassidy was a punchline from day one. I mean, he literally.
Oh come on, William!
As he's killing people, he's telling jokes.
No, and listen. I did really enjoy Woody Harrelson's performance as Cletus Cassidy, but I will agree wholeheartedly that wig at the end credits scene of the first Venom, that was piss poor.
Mm-hmm. Both films are piss poor.
No.
Oh, you switched over to Butthead.
You take that.
Oh, he did come back as Butthead. This is.
Cool.
Anyway, all right. Well,
Okay.
hey, listen, thanks for all these crazy ass opinions and for everybody coming on the panel. It's been a long day and I need to go eat. No, it's not a burger. It's fish. So there. For you,
Well, that's good either way.
Yummy.
So, all right, that's it. Any last words? Actually, no. Let's just all say goodbye. Thanks to everybody for coming to this impromptu. Like I said, I wasn't going to do a stream, but I had a little bit of adrenaline, and you guys have taken it all away. No, I'm just kidding. We'll be back on the air tomorrow, normal time, 10:30. The watch-alongs and stuff will resume now that Free Comic Book Day is over. Next Friday, we'll do both the
Open
Beekeeper
panels.
No, I did. Beekeeper and Monkey Man next Friday, and then
you said monkey. Oh.
Oh, it's a double feature on Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to start getting some of the pledge ones out of the way.
Okay.
The only way to do that is to do like 2 or 3 of them a day, and then we'll get
We've
those
done that
done.
before.
So, goodbye.
Yeah, that was fun. All right.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.